Hello, I'm Stephen Monkey Mason, and welcome officially to It's Just a Movie Podcast. As Paul Ray is very angry that he's not involved in the decision of our name and of our show. So, what have you got to say about that, Paul Ray?
It's a very easy idea. That anyone could have made that one up.
Well, it's just a movie. Well, you know, that's when it comes out of my mind. You know what I mean? Other people take credit. Now, before we start, great time, and that is my new computer in the background, just cooling down. It's something I can't get away, so it won't be doing it for very much longer. So we have Mr. Carl as well, and this is a special podcast because we're going to do the special edition of Robin Hood, and it's going to be an epic 2.5 hour one. So expect
the extended edition.
The extended edition. So expect it to drop out about the hour mark twice. And yeah. So are you guys ready to press play?
Yep. What one? 7 seconds? 8 seconds?
8 seconds.
Just let people know.
It's one of them Warner Brothers ones that starts straight away. So just after the Warner Brothers logo, we've got it all paused there. So 3, 2, 1. I've actually better turn my tally down actually.
Morgan Creeker.
I was just about to say, this song has been used on loads of stuff. Isn't it a new production logo or something? It isn't. Walt Disney use it?
Well, yeah. But to be honest, there was an advert for like insurance on TV. A dog was in a house, like flying in the sky for some strange reason, and I had the theme on. I was like, wait a minute, that's the freaking theme from Robin Hood. But yeah, it used to be on all the trailers, didn't it?
But it's Walt Disney that you use it now?
They use it earlier, but I don't think they use it all the time, because obviously it's Morgan Creek, which is obviously completely different to, Warner Brothers. So no idea. I love the theme to this.
I've got this vinyl. It's a really good score.
Now, the first time I've seen this was when it had pictures.
Yeah, same here.
After the pictures, when I say it, I went and got the 7-inch single, and then after that I got all the action figures, and obviously the action figures were clothed, weren't they? They had clothing on. And then I also remember that Little John was just a reproduction of the Star Wars Return of the Jedi, Go Mary and God. Yeah. Not Little John, Freya Tuck. The action figure was just a re-prop, wasn't it? Of because I remember saying that, yeah.
I've actually
the treehouse set on Return of the Jedi. Sorry, from this is from the treehouse set from Return of the Jedi. So just use the same toys molds.
I've got the what do you call it? The battering ram. What's not in the film?
Yeah.
I've got that in the box off Matt Davies, and I think Big Dave was saying that was from the Star Wars range as well, from the Ewoks, I think, or something.
It's probably the same thing. They said that's the same thing from the treehouse and stuff like that. So obviously Mattel or can I use the same things again and again? But what a great film! I mean, it's one of those films that you just everyone's got a coup of this. We should have.
I've still got I've still got the original VHS I bought. It's everything I've got to own. It's the one thing that survived all these years. I love it, but then when I seen the extended cut, it's like what me and you were talking about the other day, Paul. When you see the extended cut of Waterworld, you're like, fucking hell! Like there's bits like chopped out of this, and both of them have been brilliantly edited down. Do you know what I mean? Just dropping storylines. Obviously, they drop that, but like you watch it back and you're like, what the fuck? I mean, this is originally a PG.
I was about to say that.
Now it's now a 12.
Because of the extended edition.
Yeah.
PG. But yeah, I mean, I think that thing was on TV was a while ago, but it's always cut shreds.
Yeah.
Always cut shreds.
I was gutted. I was absolutely gutted when Arrow, it had popped up on the Arrow group code that it was coming out, and I said, oh my god, Robin Hood. Because obviously they're not long done Waterworld. And then Arrow Academy's brought it out, and they have just dumped it out. And I don't know if it is the extended or it's just the standard edition, but it's got no extra features on. It's just the trailer, and I was so disappointed.
Yeah, but it has got like the original artwork, hasn't it, from the DVD on it, which is pretty good. But then the artwork on the DVD and the Blu-ray extended is pretty nice to have. You know what I mean?
It's not. To be honest with you, the version I've got two. So the version I've got is Robin Hood with his flaming bow and really, really, really bad CGI stone brick wall behind him. But I've also got the cover where it's just 2 arrows. It's a green box and it's just got 2 arrows going into the cover with the quote, "I'm gonna cut your heart out with a spoon" on it.
The Warner Brothers moments.
Yeah.
Right. Going back to the film, like Carl said, this is just, anytime I watch this, always reminds me of Men in Tights.
Men in Tights was like the...
Men in Tights just has like that kind of... I don't even know if it was financially like kind of successful, but it was certainly...
I think it did
certainly stand out.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, Mel Brooks has always been able to do like very memorable films.
Yeah.
That one seemed to stand out for me. Like.
I mean, this shot here, when it comes... I mean, it's just fucking really well made, this, like.
Yeah.
And you've got, obviously, Morgan Freeman. I mean, the casting on here is amazing, though. So what happened with the director and Kevin Costner? Because obviously they fell out, then they come back together as friends and they fell out. Kevin
and Kevin met at university. Kevin Costner was a stage manager when they first met, and they did a production play together. So then basically Summit fell through. At the time there was 3 Robin Hood movies trying to get made. And Kevin Costner had just finished Dances with Wolves. He was actually editing it, and Kevin Reynolds came on to this Robin Hood, and Kevin Costner went, "Yeah, I'll do it." So he came over here. They worked on this. They then worked on Waterworld, which obviously again has a lot of stories, and then that was when there was a big falling out. But they've actually worked together since then on the Hattonfield and McCoys, the 3-part TV show, which is really, really good.
Because what I heard is that they fell out with this, then they met up before Waterworld, then became friends again, and then they weren't friends again, and then they became friends again. So obviously it has gone up history. But wasn't it about his accent also? He tried doing an English accent, but then obviously taking a mick out of it.
Yeah, they tried it. And he just couldn't do it. Kevin Costner actually goes on because when you listen to the commentary on this, Kevin Costner and Kevin Reynolds are sitting down and they're on about making nearly £1 billion together, working together between movies. And they just said after the first day he just dropped the English accent because he couldn't do it. But again, you don't notice it's Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner's Robin Hood. You don't really think about authenticity.
But I respect that though, because at the end of the day, sure, I mean, a lot of people have issue with the fact that he's not British in the film, but the reality is, I would much prefer him just own his own accent and just put a hell of a performance in the role than for the entire film being very jarring. Because there's nothing worse than someone trying to do an accent that they simply can't do.
Yeah.
Agree. And
Russell Crowe got a lot of grief as well, but he took it on the other chin, and he insisted that it was the right accent, and he didn't understand why people were like questioning his accent in that Robin Hood film. And I mean, I don't think it's enough to take me out of the film, but I can totally see what people are talking about.
I always remember these melons, just that they're so bright compared to what else is going on around them.
Yeah. I see why they're just lying there in a really dark, dirty area.
If I did that, I'd break my knee.
But yeah, we're going to talk about this as well, though, because obviously it's a British movie. Everything about it, like, it was all made over here. So it's not like they were faking it in Los Angeles or whatever, you know what I mean? And I think that's what we'll get into more about it.
Morgan Freeman just hasn't aged, has he?
He's 52 when he made this, you know.
No way.
Yeah.
He looks younger.
52-year-old. That's like 20 years later for me, right from this moment, now making a film like Robin Hood, I'd be like, you know what I mean? I mean, he had it like a rising star of the 80s. I mean, this definitely fucking launched him, like.
Yeah. There's this, 7...
Well, Driving Miss Daisy and stuff, wasn't it? It was stuff like that.
Yeah.
Shawshank Redemption. But he's been a constant. Morgan, I mean, he has took a couple of weird paychecks here and there, but he's established work. Now this, I didn't realise until I watched this the other day, that's a matte painting.
Wow, looks really good.
I mean, I wouldn't have thought that, but when you say it, yeah, very nice one of that.
Isn't this bit extended? A little bit more, or is it just me? Because I kind of, to be honest, I didn't realise Brian Blessed was in until a few years ago.
I would definitely say this bit's extended from what I remember, because it's quite a long pan and shot. Yeah.
Does it say Robin's alive? No, but again, instead of Gordon's alive, do you get it?
Cut.
No mind.
I couldn't name another film he was in, but he's so iconic from Flash Gordon. Then to see him in this, it's like that's like great supporting. That picture's fucking terrible of Kevin Costner.
That's awesome. That picture. Yeah, this is definitely extended because I don't really notice that poster too much of it, like. But yeah, you don't realise it. It's him until Duncan.
I always remember, right, that he would. You remember Nightmare on television when he used to put the helmet on?
Yeah.
He's like the guy who hosts that. It's like, was that Brian Blessed? No, it wasn't.
Take 2 steps to your left, 4 steps to your right. That was good. Nightmare was really good.
This is a good shot, this, though. I mean, there's some brilliant camera work in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely extended. Like, I can't remember him bits on here, like, because obviously I always go to the extended edition now instead of the theatrical. And it's like watching the Richard Donner cuts, you know, too. I prefer that version than the theatrical. And Robocop.
That could be a discussion and a half. I respect the Donner cut, like, but the other cut was better.
What a shot this is.
We'll have to discuss that later on, me and you, Carl. and the fisticuffs.
Obviously, Alan Rickman as well. I mean, he was just the bad guy.
Down, didn't he?
Oh, a couple of times, yeah. But like, obviously, coming off Die Hard and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Loxley.
He is absolutely. Like I said, the casting on here is great. If it wasn't Rickman, it wasn't for Costner, it wasn't for Freeman, it wasn't for Slater, this film wouldn't be as good with it. Like Mason said, it was like 2 or 3 Robin Hood films that year, wasn't it?
Look at that, man.
I think it's a timing thing as well, though, because they're all kind of almost. I mean, we can all respect them now because we know what stars they're going to become. But I think it has a lot to do with the fact that they're all very much on par with how famous they are. I feel like nobody's trying to outshine each other in scenes, or nobody's demanding more time and stuff like that. So I feel like this is just a perfectly timed film for all these really big names.
Yeah, I think it's really well cast because now they would just try to, get him for him and him for there and then that. But again, it's just like an aging process.
And the costume, that costume is so iconic, you know what I mean?
It's iconic, but I bet you didn't realise that only like a few short days beforehand that the guy making this was cast. Because originally there was more leading towards green spandex.
Really? Yeah.
It was there was a last minute production. Like again, they were trying to because it was happening so fly. I mean, Kevin Costner landed 2 days before filming because of Dances and Wolves, so there was a lot of very fast like pre-production because it was like there was 3 Robin Hood movies and everyone was trying to get off the ground running straight away. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think the costume was just amazing. I'm glad it got rid of the stupid hat and the tights, which is iconic anyway.
We need to talk about the fact that they are at Dover right now, the White Cliffs of Dover, yeah? And they literally, the next scene is at Sycamore Gap, and Sycamore Gap is about 40 minutes from my house. So,
never been.
It's amazing. But you actually, do you know what? You're about to get a treat. I'll show you as a treat. Morgan Freeman just nails it, like.
We should go one time and reenact the scene.
Christian! Azim!
That's you!
Yeah, that's what happens now, isn't it? Yes, and obviously, it's, I just kind of say it. It's, as soon as you mentioned Robin Hood, I was like, definitely. It is one of, like, I think it's probably in my top 20 films, I mean.
Yeah.
If you had, like,
I was thinking about it today, and I thought myself top 15. It will find a spot in the top 15 somewhere.
Right, so here it comes.
It is.
Right, so there's Sycamore Gap, iconic. I mean, there's a lot of video footage on my channel of that thing. It's just up the road. But what maybe people don't realise is the Lonely Tree is actually in this film, which I discovered the other day. So I'll show you in a second. You get a good shot of it.
Adrian's wall still there?
Yeah, all that. It is exactly the same as it. Like, so just on the left there is at the end credits where I'm standing. There's the tree there, the bottom. That is the Lonely Tree from Lonely Tree, yeah.
It's changed. It's called Robin Hood's Tree now.
But yeah, again, this was just discovered on the way for looking at another location, because when you drive past it, you can actually see it from the road, but to get to it, you've got to come right up and down, and like, you don't have to walk up the wall. There's a path, like, but yeah, it's
like walk on the wall.
well, again, you just pay for the car park and you can walk there. So I mean, Mate Pearson was there the other day. It's the well now that's gone. They've took that out, but yeah, it's definitely, you get there and it's great for pictures and stuff like that. But
yeah, just for that take 2 minutes seeing, it's about 3 minutes seeing. It's yeah.
see, to be honest with you, I think when he comes up this way and he looks back down, I don't know if it's reversed, because this bit, to be honest with you, because the dip, that wall, I don't think it lines up, because you go up and down about 4 dips before you actually get to the gap itself.
Yeah. All it is is no sun in this cursed place.
Well, he got loads of shit for this, didn't he? Because obviously they don't pray with their hands, do they?
No.
So he got a lot of grief.
Should be mentioned earlier on, but I totally forgot to mention it though. That obviously Kerry Ellsworth was actually offered the role of Robin Hood.
Who was?
Am I saying it right? Kerry Ellsworth, guy who played him in Robin Hood Man in Tights.
Kerry, aye, he's in X-Files and so on.
Apparently he turned it down because he turned it down because he thought the plot was too contrived. Interesting.
Yeah. Robin Hood's. I've got a British
I need to put this out there, right? There's no way this kid could climb this fucking tree, because you do not realise how big that fucking tree is. So yeah,
movie, you know?
so he's just bird.
There should be like a tally. Let's go tally how many times we get it in.
But yeah,
and those dogs are CGI now anyway.
So so basically, just to point out, when Azim walks up the other side of the wall, Kevin Costner's just come back from the other side looking down, because you can see the Lonely Tree again. So the Lonely Tree is just off to the left, but Kevin Costner's just come over the top bit, but he's left Azim at the other side of the tree. So again, it's just a movie magic, but it's just a movie, I know.
I mean, it would be funny, like, but how far did that guard think he was going to get with that axe, that tree?
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's just a movie, but
I might just take six men to attack one little boy. You know what I mean?
Now the actor there, Michael Winslow, he's been in a lot of films. Obviously known for being the baddie in The Crow. He's in Aliens Resurrection.
He pops up everything, doesn't he? Was he in Three Musketeers?
Might have been, like.
Yeah, he was in Three Musketeers. The one with Jeremy Irons, the Disney one.
Oh, but Kiefer Sutherland and stuff in.
I was about to say Kiefer Sutherland come to mind when I think of that.
The one for all, you know, that song, that cool song that did.
That cool song. I tell you what's different with the extended version. Bryan Adams isn't in the end of it.
Spoilers, man.
What?
Rock about, Loxy. Rock about.
I mean, again, this is a PG, and it's like bang, right in the fucking guts, right in the head.
Can I just say, you know, it's talked about before, it's like it was 3 different Robin Hoods. Maid Marian and a Merry Men, or was it Marian and a Men? You know, the TV one with Ron Atkinson. Can you remember that one?
Was Ron Atkinson was he?
Oh no, right. I said, how would you call him? Tony? Yeah, Tony Robinson.
Tony Robinson. Aye.
It's been a long day.
I met him last year.
But yeah, you're like to the stars, you.
Why you doing Beamish, you know what I mean? Did I tell you that one? Museum.
Oh, I know. I was doing a tag team.
A little bit.
Apologies for the PC audio.
He was doing a one-off show. Can't remember what now. Didn't really care that much. Yeah. I was too busy. What can I say? I wasn't really chatting to people.
I think when it goes from like a stunt sword to the proper sword, you can tell the big difference. Just the weight of it. just before it was on his neck. Have you guys ever held a proper sword before? A proper sword. I held Oh, you have.
No, I wasn't going to say that. I was just going to say, like, kind of define a proper sword.
Like a proper, like heavy, proper arm. Proper sword.
I was trying to work that out there, but I don't know if you go back to that shot. But who was holding them dogs? Because they were sitting there in the shop, but it looks like they were just pinned down so they didn't go anywhere. You could see the lead on the dog's neck.
Anyway, those swords are heavy. I held the original.
Right.
I held the original from Braveheart when Hancock Museum had movie stuff in. I had the original one in my hand. It was awesome. And Return of the Jedi lightsaber. It was just freaking wood. It was a stunt one.
Oh, yeah, that's it. I find it always annoys when you go online and you got someone like making a prop one and it's like metal and it's like, I don't know, it's like you go for like 500-600 quid, some of them go for $1,000. It's just like, why would you do that? Make it realistic.
Go back to Robin Hood Men in Tights when the kid just screams all the time.
Yeah. So this was actually the second highest grossing film in 1991, boys. Bonus points if anyone can guess what the first highest was.
No,
1991.
Give us a clue.
It's a sequel.
We're doing a sequel.
Die Hard 2.
Die Hard.
Nope.
No idea.
Home Alone 2.
Judgment Day.
Oh.
No.
I was thinking about the DVD, sorry, the VHS release from 1992. I was got confused. Now, obviously, this is showing them
that camera angle. That's what I like about this film. Like you mentioned earlier, Nathan, about like the way they use the camera angles in this film. It's really quite arty, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's shy, isn't it?
I mean, he looks like he's got a fisheye on his head.
That's what I was going to say, yeah.
And then Alan Rickman looks like it's the other way. It's like really well being filmed, this fucking statue. Like, it's a bit later on where it's just like...
But yeah, the camera angles are really good. They go. It does look like it's a fisheye one, doesn't it?
Yeah. A lot of thought goes into it.
Again, I think that's why Kevin Costner really like working, because he's... I mean, he's a little cut first, the fucking peeking hole.
Yeah.
So this is obviously something new, yeah.
You don't meet the witch till later on, do you?
I have to say that.
Mortiana.
Yeah.
Again, though, they still kept it in, but like, there's only like... I think maybe this is the first start.
Yeah. Because you don't realise until later on what the relationship is.
Again, remember, the total Crystal Maze set designer, I think.
Richard Bryan's in the background.
Well, just with the multicoloured water and the rising smoke and all that, it's just like...
The thing is about this film, you kind of tell it's a set. They've done such a good job.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of money's went into the cinematography. And again, lighting, just before when she's had a hand in the lighting there. And in the breaks, you know what I mean?
Can you hear that on your end?
What?
The computer?
No,
not really.
Just every time you mention it.
Oh, this always freaked me out as a kid. The bloody egg. It's like, what the fuck? I mean, she warrants a fucking 15 on her own, never mind a PG.
Yeah.
Was this bit in theatrical, was it?
Yeah, I think this bit was, yeah.
I remember it. Yeah.
I love it how you're saying you remember it, Carl. Have you actually seen this uncut version?
Yeah. No,
Right.
I mean, I've only seen it. I think, I'll be honest with you, I might have only seen it once, possibly twice, but obviously I've had it on Blu-ray. I've definitely watched it before, since buying it, but it's just one of those films. It's like, I don't know, it's got such a memory for certain scenes, but then there could be some scenes that go, wait a minute, when did that happen?
Well, again with the DVD and the Blu-ray, they don't even like acknowledge that it's the uncut extended version, and like this is one of them few films that being extended and uncut makes a difference. It's not like one of the Fast and the Furious where it's like uncut edition and it's 4 minutes longer. You're like, what the fuck's in there?
Yeah. Listen, there's very few films that have ever really warranted the whole director's cut kind of stamp, I would say.
Imagine if they made it Aliens 3 director's cut.
Ooh. It's interesting about that though, because I was taught that. No.
Oh, I see Robin Hood's picture survived in the corner. I just noticed that there for the first time ever.
I'm surprised you haven't got a reproduction on your wall.
Yeah.
It's in the room somewhere, you just can't see it.
Yep, it's on the ceiling. Covering the mirrors.
Fucking bullying us.
Again, I can't. I mean, it's such a scene, right? But I instantly go straight back to the old guy sitting on the toilet. You know, just have no idea that the castle's gone.
Call them blinking, don't they?
Again, that's in there. That was that in between the Hot Shot movies, wasn't it? When spoofs were really well thought about, but like specifically just one movie with maybe fragments of another.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think they were designing to actually make a film. So, like, say, Men in Tights, for example, is a good Robin Hood film, but it just so happened to be parodying a lot of the Robin Hood's films. So, I think that's what makes them work so well. Whereas Scary Movie, I'll give Scary Movie 1 a go, because that is still kind of trying to recreate the Scream storyline. But the later ones are so horrible because they're literally just almost like sketch shows. It's just like one scene after another. It's a throwaway joke, and then it didn't work.
Yeah, that's when the Suckermans came and did it from Police Squad and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's when Leslie Nielsen and Charlie Sheen joined it, didn't they?
Yeah. No, look at Duncan.
I mean, he does this, I swear it by my own blood. He is not using that hand for a good while. How dark this fucking blood comes out.
Yeah.
Now, Robin Wright Penn was meant to be...
What's this about?
Saying Robin Wright Penn was originally meant to be Maid Marian, but she fell pregnant.
Alright.
Yeah.
There was a lot of changes with this film with casting, wasn't there?
Well,
They were hunting for Johnny Depp for a while to play the role of Will Scarlet, and he turned that down apparently. So it'll be interesting to see if everyone who they originally wanted actually said yes. So it'll be a completely different cast.
I mean, you've got to think that Robin Hood Men in Tights was maybe made from, as I say, we know that they were trying to make 3 films of Robin Hood at this era. Maybe someone went, why don't we just make a fucking spoof now? And they probably had a good idea, script, and a good foundation just to spoof this movie, and that's probably how that got made.
I totally agree there, yeah.
Dark blood, like, wasn't it?
Proper dark. You like that is deep blood. That's just like that's Stitch's job. That.
Especially on that bloody the necklace that he used, the thing in it.
I always remember this as a kid. Like you right, you got to think of this, right? So Maid Marian, right? What is she doing right now? Because it's not exactly they've got like a fucking intercom or anything. Like oh yeah, come in, and she's dressed up in this night suit. I mean. Oh, aye. Again, it's just a movie. I know.
That does look painful, doesn't it?
Aye, proper feels painful, that. But then he's just about to go, no. Come inside.
Come on, you know what I mean, eh? Come on, Sid.
She totally reminds me of someone off Monty Python, that. Monty Python and Blackadder.
Yeah.
But then again, though, Monty Python and like Blackadder, that's probably why like a lot of like the sets, the designer who came on, there's probably why there was so many resources, because England had been doing a lot of movies like that, or like frequent TV shows. Morgan Freeman, man, worth every penny, ain't he?
He's just going, what are you talking about, you silly old fart? I love this bit, yeah. Watch this reaction, Duncan's reaction. Yeah, he's like, oh my god, you've changed so much, but then he kind of just becomes a creep, doesn't he? So he's not being honest.
Yeah.
But I think we're doing that.
I mean, someone said hello to me the other day in the supermarket. They had a mask on. Brit was like, "Who's that?" I was like, "I haven't got a fucking clue." That's not recognising somebody. I mean, he's only been away 6 years.
Needed some money.
I mean, it's totally the red herring. This is Maid Marian, but then...
Yeah.
You're more beautiful than I can imagine. Yes, I'm being. I'm kind, yes. Now, is this bit extended?
No, this is always the same.
The bit when Marion comes down and chins him or something, is that extended? I just can't remember it.
It's been too long since I've seen the regular version. Just feels like it's the original now.
I tell you one thing that they do well in this. Obviously, she's just scripted there. Like none of the women in it. I mean, there's not that many ladies. There's her and there's John Little's wife and stuff. But obviously, having them not have any makeup on, I think adds so much realism to it. I mean, obviously, Maid Marian's sponsored by Chanel or whatever, you know. But there we go. She's meant to be the most beautiful girl in the Valley Inches. So.
I think
John Mrs. was supposed to have a bigger role. She was supposed to lead the revolt at the end.
Hey, the Scottish wifey.
Aye.
But, yeah.
I think
So
it's something to do with extending War Scarlet's role. I think I remember reading.
Well, Christian Slater had really popped after this, though, because he had done stuff like Heathers and Pump Up the Volume had been really big hits a couple of years beforehand. So he was a wizard as well, but he was on a really big climb at that point. So,
but yeah, he was nominated for a Razzie for this role, the worst supporting actor. Don't think he got it, but he was nominated for it.
I think every time Robin Hood shouts for Azim to help him, he never comes and helps him properly.
And then every time Azim shouts Christian, he doesn't answer. And Christian Slater's probably going, "What?"
Yeah.
Now, I've seen her in The Abyss, and then I've seen her in Heroes. Is it Grimm, and that's it?
Mary Elizabeth something, wasn't it?
Maserato or something like that. It's a...
Yeah. That sounds Canadian, doesn't it? Yeah, she was, I remember in the 90s and stuff, I just can't remember much. Just again, the really good casting, isn't it?
But she was the wifey in Perfect Storm, wasn't she? I think she was Clooney's missus.
Right.
She's in. I think she's in January Man as well.
Going back to her fighting Robin Hood, that's that kind of thing that Aliens had, where the woman is still strong. You know what I mean? Because obviously Maid Marian was always had to be rescued, wasn't she? So it's that bit where women's power was starting to really come in more than ever, wasn't it?
Oh, I mean, she's a really strong character in this. I mean, she is literally supporting this whole community thing they've got going here. She is like the, but obviously she's got a weakness for Robin, but she's a very, very strong. But see at the end though, when she's fighting with a sheriff, you know what I mean? I mean that has been extended because there is a scene later on when Alan Rickman jumps up and double knees down. And they even found that quite controversial for the rape scene, you know what I mean? This bit's comedy gold, this bit.
Well, the old man blamed. You're horrible, you mean.
Oh, fucking right, man. I'm talking about Azim with his fucking telescope.
It is actually, yeah. And obviously them days, bloody hell. Like I'm an expert in history or something like that.
No, leave that to Carl, alright?
Yeah. Sorry, well, stuff would have been new, wouldn't it, from the Middle East, especially the glass and the, I don't know, I'm trying to be smart.
Right, but those swords look heavy.
The Converse, is it the Converse and the concave lens? You've seen the film crew there. You can see the film crew in the lens. Look, you can see the boom guy. Really holds it up. Obviously not now.
I like it.
Witchcraft.
That is really good. Like, it's just like wrapped in leather or something like that.
There you go. You can see the film crew in the lens.
I was too busy looking at the 3D effect. Post converted to 3D. The score is really good. Like,
Whee!
see, it's starting to show you that the teaming up. You know what I mean? The know each other's moves kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, I see, like...
I've just looked on here. In 2012, Kevin Costner sued the producers over unpaid profits. Apparently, Morgan Creek gave the distribution to an international subsidiary, if I'm saying that right, and it was a breach of his agreement, so he's not going to be a fan of this now.
Well, he came back for the comedy. He was interested in the sequel they wrote because the sequel was meant to be him and Azim going to rescue Prince Richard again, King Richard again, abroad.
Yes.
But I just think it's a one-off movie. Don't need a sequel would have ruined it.
It is, but then it like leads you to believe like it's the second highest grossing film. You got, I mean, maybe it was a big name that then started getting more work after this, but when it comes to question, why did a sequel not come of it?
Well, Kevin
Seems like it
Costner.
would have happened.
Well, I think Kevin Costner. Didn't he not win the Academy Award for Dances with Wolves?
Yes.
Which he would have won
Yes.
while this was filming. So, and then he did Bodyguard the year after, and Bodyguard is just as big as this movie.
Yeah.
So he had a roller coaster. So I think what had eventually happened is, I think Waterworld is the essential sequel because it's the same director, and I think that's why Universal just chucked everything at them. Although the film's suffered through like a lot of a fucking hurricane and all kinds of stuff. So I think that's why we didn't get a sequel, because of Kevin Costner. But I also see that's why Kevin Costner and Ryan Reynolds would have fell out on Waterworld, because it's such a big movie, and Kevin Costner is now Academy Award winning director.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't think so. If we got a sequel, it would never be. It'd never be as good. Like Speed 2.
Nah. Yeah.
Just thrown out there.
It'd just be, I can imagine it like being, oh, sorry, we couldn't get Kevin back, so we've got Christian Slater to jump in the role as Robin Hood Jr.
Will Scarlet, the Prince of Thieves, is that what it's going to be called, like?
Yeah.
Prince of Curtains. Because obviously this is early 90s, and that's when curtains was coming around, was it? That's why everyone's got long hair and stuff.
Well, the phasing of the mullet to the curtains era.
Yep. It's a bloody ghosts. Bobbing on blood.
Get the...
Squeaky.
For that.
Oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me, chair? Can you?
Can I hear you, Chip?
That's the first time I've heard it mine, so...
Well, you know, blame Brittany. Oh, I put a brand new chair for you. You won't squeak.
If I wanted on WhatsApp, I could still hear it from here. At least you've got a chair. I've got bed sores now, man.
Mate, you're lying in the bed with a hot water bottle, probably a hot blanket on, your fucking red Power Ranger up your bum, and watching this. So
Oh yeah, I'm 75 now. I feel like it. So it's a really good idea that they're using wind chimes to scare people to, you know, paint and more. But yeah, you can never make it these days. I'm surprised this hasn't been pulled from existence because of all the racial stuff. That'd be the next one, actually.
Probably something in here to offend somebody.
Oh
Like
yeah.
Nathan mentioned earlier on when he's praying with his hands.
now this isn't far from my house either. This it's in North Yorkshire. This bit.
We should just do a tour of this and just reenact the scenes.
I am not driving all the way down to the White Cliffs of Dover to then miraculously go over the hill to Sycamore Gap. That's
The all can just come out of the water and then start kissing the sand.
Yeah. I mean, what a better way to come out of quarantine than do something like that. We're all happy to be outside again.
We can call it robbing of the hoods.
wow.
That's copyrighted.
You can have that one, mate.
Yeah, that ain't going nowhere, that fucker. Oh, here it comes. There was a rich man from Nottingham who tried to cross the river. What a dope, he tripped on a rope. Now look at him shiver. Beg for mercy, rich man.
There he is.
Have you seen this before, miss?
Oh, quite a few times.
Mason was singing the song to us before, man. When the film was even on.
Did you close your eyes and think it was, did you?
Yeah, I pretend I was wet, like Robin Hood.
Wow. Now, fair play. I tell you what, though, like, when he hits him in the hand as well, there's nothing like... You can feel the British coldness in this movie. You know, it's light, but it's not exactly... you know, it really captures what, like, English is. Like, dark waters, it's sunny, it's not raining, but you can feel the cold.
Oh, yeah, you can tell it's set in Britain.
Now, the only thing I've ever seen him in is Loch Ness.
Oh, some interference there.
Paul Ray, dodgy downloads.
No, not me.
That there will feed us for a blooming month, that. So I'm surprised. I mean, he's a good actor, like, but he's not like. Obviously, like before this, I knew what Robin Hood was because of Disney. So obviously, Azim and that wasn't in that, and Little John was quite a big supporting of that. So
yeah, I keep forgetting about Robin Hood Disney. It's the Robin Hood Disney and this are my two favourite Robin Hood films.
I concur.
And then
I can't believe there was one last year, wasn't there, with Jamie Foxx in?
You know, it's a bit of a... I'd say it wasn't horrible. It was not at all on this level. But, it was an alright film, I suppose.
Oh.
Was it
something different.
Was it Lock, Stock? No.
No, he did King Arthur.
Was it a Kingsman guy?
It was a kid. It was a guy from Kingsman.
I forgot which director it was. Oh god, that looks so bloody painful and cold.
I mean, I love it how he's got the medallion off. I mean, such a wizard.
Such a thief. He's a thief. They just need a prince to lead them. See what they did there. Oh, no, just a bit. Get up, move faster.
Move faster. I love it how, like, where's John going here? Do you know what I mean? He's got it. Should he not be going to land?
Perhaps he's just getting some fish or something. I don't know.
I mean, fair play to them in this. I mean, that would have been fucking cool, like.
Yeah.
And I like how, like, they're all still wet from each scene, and they haven't just got dried off, you know, like they do in other films.
Yeah.
They're, like, perfectly all dry.
Just in case it's wrecking anyone brains who was watching this, the new Robin Hood, it was directed by Otto Bathurst. And that guy from Kingsman is Taron Egerton.
Oh, it's a guy from Rocket Man, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is a very good film. Not a massive fan of Elton John, but a very good biopic film.
No, I'm not a fan of Elton John, that's for sure. But Elton John's in Kingsman, isn't it? That's how that's happened.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to give you a quick call back because we're approaching the hour, and this will be. I'll catch you in 2 seconds.
Alright, see you tomorrow. Bye.
Ciao for now.
So yeah, just as I ring these guys back, this episode is still sponsored by Steel Time Music. I've just got a picture of Paul Ray with a Mr. Happy t-shirt on. with a dog behind him. Oh, Paul Ray, blonde hair. He is looking like Slim Shady.
Yeah, from some of the comments that you'd been putting on, I thought maybe it had been something to do with his last.
Wow, that's Matt Davis. He sounds like he's in a fucking tunnel. So Matt Davis gets a cheeky little cameo. We'll get back to the film as Little John is rescued.
And we're back.
And you're back.
Hello.
I tell you what, though, I did not see that picture of you, Paul, before we started this phone call.
I've just mentioned that on the, I've just mentioned that in the podcast. I was fucking hell, it's Slim Shady.
That was such a photograph. I say when the screen went blank after we hung up, and that was looking at us, I was like, Christ.
Mate, that's probably going to have to be your new profile picture on the podcast thing.
Yeah, definitely.
More work for me, thanks.
I've changed a wee bit.
No, he's been something, isn't he? The bloke who just done the joke. Hey, mine.
Bull. It's either him. I mean, that guy behind them laughing looks like Pee Wee Herman. When you see him, he's just over the back of Kevin Costner's head. But the guy you're on about, he's one of the child catchers from Oliver Twist.
Aye. Do you know his name?
Oh, you mean one of the thieves?
Aye.
Because, yeah.
It's when a guy totally looks like Pee Wee Herman. Paul Rubin.
There is a guy in here who's actually in Maid Marian as Little John.
Right.
TV show. I'll try and point out. Do you recognise him straight away? He's like bald and he's a big guy. He played Little John in thingy.
That guy there in the foreground. He's gone. You do see him again. You'll know what I mean because he looks like out of Mystery Man.
That's a film we could do, like Mystery Man.
Spleens.
Can you see me?
Only when you're not looking.
That's got some bad CGI effects, that like.
That was Kel from Keenan and Kel, wasn't it?
Yeah. Fucking Jeffrey Rush in that as well, man. That's there he is. Paul, you can see him. It proper looks like Paul Rubin.
It does, yeah. Obviously, this is extended, isn't it? I can't remember this talking so long.
So obviously from Will Scarlet, he wasn't in the Disney thing either, was he? But he actually was in the mythology of Robin Hood.
Yeah.
He's a bloody taking notice. He's got a piss and wind.
Here we are kings. I tell you what though, even though it's a long movie, it flows really good.
Oh yeah.
It's one of those films where I would find it, even obviously they did do it for the original cut, but when I watch this, I do find it very tricky to figure out scenes that I would cut out of it.
That guy there in the background.
Just stretching. Probably overacting as an extra.
I thought it was a blonde wife, and then just realised it's just Duncan. Never mind.
Too much meat.
This is new, isn't it?
No.
Yeah.
No, this is new.
Really? I thought this was not in the theatrical.
No, because this is how he knows that Maid Marian might be a church.
I thought he just went anyway.
This is new, this bit.
That's what he's called Christian for?
Upside down cross and the worship, and this is new.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But again, this relates back to the start when you see him in the white gown and stuff.
Yeah.
like a well-made avant-garde course, obviously. Yeah. Is he eating a person?
I don't know. I wouldn't be fucking eating anything off there.
No.
But he even playing with the cross as well because he moves it.
Yeah.
Again, this would have still been in the era of like when they used to burn witches, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, drown them more common historically.
Yes, you're right. Yeah. And if they floated, they weren't witches, isn't it? No, if it floated, they were witches.
If it floated, yeah.
God,
Yeah.
that's quite dark. That mind, very dark.
I like how you just said that on probably one of the brightest scenes we've seen in the
I was about to say the same thing.
It's like, turn your brightness up, mate, that's bright, that's...
No, I'm on about the fact that
that.
like her trying to feed a real bat, and it's the imagery, and it's just she's covered in blood, and it's a big like, it's proper like cosmic red blood, like you know what I mean.
That's how famous it's got.
This guy creeps me out. This guy's a total sex pest, I think.
And again, like, the lighting on his face, you know what I mean? Just to show his eyes.
Yeah.
It's so creepy, isn't he, having Rickman when he looks over?
I think them two are really great casters, like being cousins as well.
Well, look, the good friends, you know, apparently they live next door to each other in London
Well, not now.
for a while. So, well, clearly not now, but yeah, they had a good chemistry. Apparently he went to hers to ask for milk on the night of the premiere with a little story I was reading.
Do you know my first encounter of Alan Rickman?
Dogma?
No. Playing fucking hell. Romeo and Juliet. What's the bad guy called?
Mercutio.
No, on the other side.
Tybalt.
That's him. Just he used to have this like proper like ball cut and green spandex. We used to have to watch that in school.
Alright. Right. I'm supposed to play Monday, my lady.
For any football fans watching at the moment, Kevin Costner became a fan of Arsenal Football Club when he was filming this, and still to this day, it's awesome.
There you go.
Well, you've just killed the mythology. Robin Hood's a fucking Arsenal fan. Do you know how many people like you just defended?
Well, technically, Arsenal being down from London, and this being probably... No, this is not close to London.
You can't pinpoint this in England. You just say England.
Yeah.
It's actually in Sherwood, actually.
Well, I'm surprised none of it was filmed at Durham.
Yeah. I'm going to say there would have been plenty of options.
Obviously, she tells him to take a bath, and it's absolutely ages later she actually sees him in the water, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm taking a bath." What? Finally? Like fucking hell.
I think we all see him in the bloody bath, don't we?
Well, it's not him.
Yeah.
It's a stunt double.
Stunt double.
Well, yeah,
What's it?
he might get his little tattoos out.
That goes back to Waterworld. You know when I forgot her name when she gives herself to to Kevin Costner. It's not her. It's a bum double again. Which is There's banks and bum doubles. I'm an expert in.
It's just that always bugs me about that. I mean, it's got absolutely nothing about the visuals. It's not like I want to see Kevin Costner's bum. But that being said, I feel like that's kind of where the ego steps in. Like you get these people who act like proper actors, who were brought up and not even go bias and say English actors. They'll read a script and say, "All right, so apparently I've got to get naked for the screen," and they just do it. You know what I mean? Look at Harry Potter, man. After all the lights that he gets from doing Harry Potter, he goes into a play. It turns out he's got to get stark naked, and he just does it. Whereas now it's like you got. I mean, it definitely falls upon a lot more women than it does the men in this day and age. But it's just like Amelia Clark. She was completely naked in Game of Thrones at the beginning, essentially because she was an unknown. You know what I mean? She probably didn't have any kind of bartering skills. Whereas after season 2, like she has it in her contract that she doesn't do a naked scene anymore, and it's just like that just takes the piss out of being an actor. I think. I feel like, you know, unless it's distasteful, don't get me wrong, unless you're like looking at it and going, right, this writer's a pervert now, like you just want to see some freaky stuff. But, you know, if it means that you're going to bend over and get a bum cheek out, just do it, man.
It's like Bruce Willis in Colour of a Night. When you're watching this film, you're like, that's not very good. Next thing you know, Bruce Willis's cock goes floating past the screen and this underwater thing, and you're like, this is fucking awkward. Because you get it thinking that, oh yeah, Bruce Willis has got a new film coming out. Because this is in between like Die Hard 2 and Die Hard 3. So you're watching this movie and you're really invested in it. And next thing you know, just a fucking cock on the screen. You're like, Bruce Willis's cock.
Can I just say, didn't the priest just give Robin Hood away though?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Robin Hood was walking out, he was walking in, but obviously he doesn't know who he is, so he could have just walked out past him. Yeah. It was only when the priest went, there'd be no bloodshed. He's
I'm
like,
gonna cut your heart out with a spoon.
Why a spoon?
I love, but like he's menacing, but he's like, I mean, that skid on the floor, that's just fucking brilliant. That.
He actually does hit all the extras, isn't he?
That's Kevin Costner as well doing that. It's a real stunt.
Those are real horses. I love the shot here and the music. When it goes up the stairs.
Well, I think the entire scene with the camera. I mean, when Robin was in that circular room, the way the camera was swinging around, it's just really well done. And then obviously it's zoomed up on Alan Rickman's face when he comes out the door there, just like.
Well, even Alan Rickman though, just absolutely going for it. Even when he gets his coat stuck here, and he just goes with it. He just absolutely just nails it.
Yeah, it rips off, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, there's no second take there.
Nah. Probably goes into it. I was just saying, whatever bread is in that bloody thing knocked the guy over there, didn't it?
Water. Thanks for the horse. I mean, there's not much bread in there, like, I mean...
Well, you know, back in the day, when they used to bake bread...
Here we
it was
go.
actually really heavy. Because obviously we didn't have, like, self-raising flour. So a lot of bread they used to make with more, like, what... Have you ever, like, had a stotty from Greg's? You know, it's always, like, just really heavy and dense. But that's historically how most bread was made. So that there would have lasted, like, well over a week.
Nice. These days you get bread that's for 2 days.
I do, I.
Just get open it these days. What you gonna bloody do, eh? I love a seam sword. It's bloody mint. I can't believe
it's one of those you can get like a prop of, isn't it?
Yeah. It's hard to believe he was actually 50 odd doing this, like.
Now, a lot of the cast have worked together with each other because obviously, I mean, leaving there, look at that makeup that you don't even notice until now on HD, yeah. But if you think about, like, Christian Slater worked again with Kevin Costner in 3,000 Miles to Graceland. He also worked with Morgan Freeman in Hard Rain. He'd worked with Sean Connery. Now there you can see the hole in the wall there. Now that is really clever foreshadowing for a scene that got stuck as well. Because I think he actually notices it. Like, now sew and keep the stitches small.
But you're saying how many of them work together. You've also got Kevin Costner and Sean Connery in The Untouchables.
Well, that's how Kevin Costner ended up in here. That is literally how Sean Connery ended up in this movie, like.
Yes, the Loxley. Yes. The Scottish King. What? Doesn't make any sense. Does it call?
No, historically, no.
Historically?
She's what you call a border weaver.
Yep. Coming over from the border to live over here, isn't it? The poetry house. I mean, the birdhouse.
I could say that was quite an elaborate birdhouse as well, though. I mean, that's a crow's house, that. No, I mean, it's a bird's house.
See, the thing is there, Robin of the Hood. So he's now it's a Robin Hood.
That's why I call it anything Rob the, isn't it? Like the internet and the Star Wars.
Well, the other night, man, it's the Running Man, but even when the graphics, when you see in the TV show, it's Running Man, it's just like, right, either have it or don't have it, make your mind up.
But, Stephen, if you're going to have to put the Running Man on a shelf, does it go to T for the, or does it go to R for
It goes into R.
Where'd you put the Dark Knight? Do you put next to B for Batman, or would you put in a D for Dark Knight?
Exactly, aye. But it's one of those ones because it's got history. It goes there. It's like there's some rules like that's broken. It's like all Hitchcock movies got to be under H. Why? So that's like, you know what I mean? It's too traditional. And again, that's some of what's wrong with this area. Because now you would say, right, they're all under T for Tarantino. Where's your Tarantino films? Do you know what I mean? Because you could, for example, like you could have, oh, why is Little Nicky? Or why is Four Rooms under Tarantino? Well, he directed one and he's quite a big part in Little Nicky. Oh, I'll buy it then, you know. But no, it's still like old school directors. Albert and Costello.
On the right there, the guy in the middle, the balding guy, the big guy who's just on the floor. He was in, there he is, right in the middle now.
Yeah.
He's got a beard, right in the middle, and he looks like Doe. He was Little John and
that's him, it is, right? Yeah. Maid Marian and her Merry Men.
Yep. Why don't you carry on, oh Marian?
Apparently this shot was a long take.
I'd imagine.
You can actually see, if you freeze framed, you can actually see two arrows at one point.
Yeah.
Because it's already in his hand, so...
It's been an hour and 10 minutes, and he's only just using his bow and arrow now. With the helmet.
True. But can we just all establish, I don't care who you are, but if you're going to get an arrow in the hand, I'm crying, like, I'm not going to lie. I mean, it doesn't even look like he's in pain. Just, I'm going to run off and look at this.
I mean, he's just lost his temper.
Your hand.
I know, but he's just made that really bow. He's been stroking it for fucking ages, now he's just chucked it away.
I would do what Ace Ventura does in the second one, where he gets the spear thrown to his knee. He goes, ah! That's what I would be like. The speech is pretty good.
I can never work out his sword holder, Azim's.
You what?
Azim's sword holder.
Alright.
Because it's.
But yeah, this is his Independence Day speech, isn't it?
Yeah.
Today we celebrate our Independence Day. Now we get a montage.
Oh, I sure would be.
But the thing is, you know about the building like the town up in the trees. Not one nail was used into the trees. They weren't allowed.
Oh yeah, it's National Trust, isn't it?
So that is very impressive.
I don't know. Did you mention? I'm sure we probably mentioned it a few times, but earlier on when you were talking about Kenner and that, did you mention how like the entire like set here was just Ewok?
Yeah.
Did you mention that? Sorry, I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
Just sprung to mind.
It just re-sculpted a little bit, and the Gomerian god was Friar Tuck.
I remember you saying that. I just couldn't remember you saying anything about the Star Wars.
Anyway, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It is cool. The theme is really good though.
I'm
gonna have to pick up a score actually.
And also coming out of this montage is the shot that you originally filmed just for the trailer of the bow and arrow, and then they just needed to put it somewhere in the movie, so that's how it ended up there.
Outside, yeah, what's that up? Tree houses? That's really good, that big, isn't it?
It blows my mind. I mean, fair enough, anything that's like some of the sets, because they're actually up in the trees, but like how they actually get that to work around the trees, man, it's fucking mental.
Be like scaffolding, won't it? Kind of thing. But like hidden behind.
I mean, some of the sets actually still there, though, isn't it? Here we go. Boom.
No, here again. That's proper early ILM work, that, like, isn't it?
Yeah.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing, that. It is clever, like hiding the bushes and stuff like that.
Now there's a scene. I think no, this is not the scene. There's a scene after this. It's the next thing, the Nick. Wee.
That's like carry on film that.
I always thought that was her from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. She's just got them eyes.
Yeah. Huh?
Oh, yeah. What, Gyllenhaal?
Now this is this famous scene directed by Kevin Costner because he wanted it doing, so he said, "Well, I'll direct it," even though it's a short scene. See, it's even on there. Robin of the Hood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because obviously he is a director, and he also edited Waterworld, didn't he, and stuff like that towards the end.
Well, he had to because Kevin Reynolds left, didn't he?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, but he is like fingering all the pies kind of thing, isn't he? I don't know why that guy had a poor conky helmet. That'll be me, that. Helmet. If everyone in the world have one, it'll be me.
Good score in this. Dun 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 dun. I mean, that poor chicken just getting hung there. See, he's definitely called Robin of the Hood.
Yeah.
I mean, how long's Kevin Costner up this tree for?
It's the English language, though, isn't it? That's basically it. Like, they would have had, like, Sir Richard King of the Land sort of thing, whereas Robin of the Hood.
And Paul Ray on the movie group saying, the Star Wars.
Yeah.
Star Wars of the Galaxy. Aye.
Yeah, I put Liz on everything. God bless Robin of the Hood. I thought she was Scottish. She's not Scottish. Yeah, she is, yeah. She was I mean...
I love it how the horses even got a mask.
You got to identify them, haven't you?
Again, this guy just like someone who should be on Blackadder now. What in this?
He's absolutely terrified, isn't he? Oh, we get like all the wine in his face and stuff like that. I mean, more for him.
Now, boys, it's 1991, and this video has been released on VHS in the UK. How much are you paying for it?
When it was first released,
Or in the shops to buy.
In the shop to buy.
$12.99.
I would say $13.99.
And the winner goes to Mr. Mason. Hang on, $12.99.
He's probably got one with a sticker on, that's why.
No, I fucking remember buying it.
There again.
This bit here, it's fucking brilliant.
Someone's added the scarf.
Aye.
Oh, no. The next bit's brilliant.
You, 6:30.
But, yeah. 10:30, then it's like 10:45. Bring a friend.
Bring a friend.
There's just so many. It's so many comedic moments in such a like serious film, isn't it? When it wants to be.
I can't see anybody else at this era playing him.
No. And the cup swing behind it looks like it's from The Last Crusade.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of the times it's just really extended with her, isn't it?
Yeah, the bulk of it. I mean, this scene, to be honest with you, right, this scene's cut out, right, in a bit when they steal the truck and it flips over. Because obviously it used to just cut that out, and next thing you know, Robin Hood's was wet. And like,
isn't he? Yeah.
but it's a hell of a fucking stunt to be cut out.
There he is. He was in Who Line Is It Anyway, and Richie Rich, wasn't he?
Richie Rich, and he's the guy in Office Space who has a heart attack when he hypnotises them.
When I went to see Little Shop of Horrors in the Southern Empire years ago, he was the voice of Audrey 2. He did the singing for Audrey 2. Like, he was amazing.
I thought I hadn't seen the 1960 Little Shop of Horrors, and I watched it last week, and I had, but it's actually such a really good film.
Roger Corman did 20 days just for a laugh, for a bet.
Yeah.
That's what it was for.
I mean, it's weird though, because obviously you watch it and you think this is absolutely brilliant, but then you look at it and I thought, if anyone was ever going to do another version of it, they couldn't have gotten a better version, you know what I mean? Turn it into that musical and, you know, stage show and stuff like that, and I just think, because that's one of the things I'm watching, I'm thinking, it's really good, but I'm missing the songs.
I generally think
like
that there, when he's straddling that, looking like a big cock, it's an inner joke to before he's because I'm so long. You know what I mean? The way he's just holding it looks like a fucking enormous penis.
Well, it's clever wording, isn't it?
Definitely.
This is brilliant, these little traps.
They're very clever, like, you wouldn't have thought of it, would you?
Nah.
But then again, you could get trampled by the horses, couldn't you, if one went the wrong way?
Yeah.
Oh.
Paul, here's the one for you. The music in the original trailer was borrowed from what 1988 film? And it is one of your films ones. What's that?
Willow.
James
Horner. Two things I know: movie banks and Willow.
So this is where there's a cut coming here.
Yeah.
As soon
I
as,
always wondered why he was always wet for.
but it can't even make any sense why Morgan Freeman all of a sudden jumps off of the horses if you watch it. So like this happens, the net goes up and then cuts to them opening the right. They come back, then it cuts to them opening the chest. But then we get this little scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all those soldiers dead or knocked out because obviously they're going to tell us secrets if they wake up on them.
But like, just watch this bit. Morgan Freeman's just like, wait, hang on, wait there. I'm just going to unplug this. I think he's got no logic behind what he does. It's a hell of a stunt.
Yeah.
But it makes no logical sense why that happened.
What? And what about that little explosion between the axe and the lock?
Well, that's a movie. It's just a movie.
I'll be buggered, excuse me.
What you think about being buggered?
I always, just what you said. I always think I thought it was like it was sweat from the counter that you just had.
Paul, don't take this the wrong way, but you used to look like Friar Tuck. Used to. Very loosely said that.
Now he's the real Slim Shady.
Now I look like Robin Hood.
What was Friar Tuck in the cartoon?
A bear.
Was it?
A bear, was it?
Yeah. Do 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 do.
Was it blue?
Yes.
That just fucked with your head when you were a kid. It's Blue in Robin Hood.
Well, I mean, the fact that didn't he have the same name in what was that series? Tailspin.
Yeah.
Because they were both blue, but I never, as a kid, ever connected them as being the same character.
We quit the jungle and started our own cargo company, didn't he? Tailspin.
Not as good as
See,
Chip and Dale.
Chip and Dale, Rescue Rangers. Which I'm really annoyed at you guys, or more so at HMV, because you did have a Chip figure on Reduce, which I was really happy to find, and you had loads of other figures.
No Dale.
Dale.
That's it, like.
I mean, I bought it, but I mean, who has Chip and not Dale, or vice versa?
The thing is, who in the right mind thinks it's a good idea to release them singly and just a double pack, get one payment, and that's it?
A good point. Yeah, good point.
You're not talking about the strippers? Chip and Dale's?
No, that's a different collection.
Alright. Yeah, sorry, I thought you were talking about Chip and Dale action figures that you got.
No, them ones are necker. More detail.
Yeah.
I tell you what, some of the stuff that borrows from Mel Gibson Hamlet had just finished filming, so a lot of that was reused for this as well.
Well, Mel Gibson reckoned, I mean, I don't know how true it is because it doesn't really have much fact behind it, but Mel Gibson said on a UK breakfast show, as the Slack states, that he was offered the lead role. And he turned it down because he'd just done Hamlet or something like that.
Alright. It's him supposed to say Hamlet. I always think of like Last Action Hero, Schwarzenegger, when he's doing Hamlet.
I've still got the action figure, him still boxed up there.
Nice. I'll have it.
That's a rare steelbook, mind, if you can get that one. That was a sellout on day one, I think, really.
Has this ever been a steelbook, Robin Hood, The Prince of Thieves?
No, I don't think so. Wouldn't be surprised if
I would ask Casper.
But I don't think it has.
It's a good time it should, like.
Yeah, cause I was thinking that when we were talking about watching it, because I thought, to be honest with you, I remember the extended DVD collection.
Yeah.
And then I went to look at like what was released after that, and it's like literally only being the Blu-rays, so it hasn't really been a good definitive collection.
I reckon it'll get a 4K transfer, you know.
I reckon it would be worth doing a 4K transfer and something like that.
How does it look on Blu-ray? Does it look really good?
That looks quite alright, really. I mean, it
did a good job.
I've got no complaints. But then, obviously, my eyes differ to Stephen, because I was like, what were you mentioned about Runner Man? You were talking about the blue, and I was like, yeah, well, artistically, yeah, it looks like it's really good. And Nathan's like, no, I'm just talking about the transfer.
Well, no, it's that kind of like deep shadows and cosmic blue, and like, you know, it's meant to be smooth, and it's all like, looks like Lego forming in the background very briefly.
I didn't get that, but that maybe just differs TVs and stuff like that. Like you said, you were watching it on a smaller screen, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, well, I just watched it on the second editing screen, yeah.
iPod video.
Look at that extra in the background.
Weird, like having this moment where you're crying and that, it just seems a bit strange, really.
No, because it don't. Thank you.
Men have emotion too. You know.
But this is really designed for him to be a genuine threat, though.
Yeah. Well, that's it, because he seemed like it'd be a bit over the top to kill him off. You still want to have him knocking around just to...
Yeah.
Maybe that's because I'm a shit with him. I'm too friendly.
I think it's to prove a point more than anything else, I mean.
Oh yeah, I mean, he did it in front of everyone, didn't he? Just to make a statement.
But again, that was like a handy cam, well, not handy cam, but that was like hand filmed, that, I mean. So that's really good, that.
So the guy on him there, he's the guy from Oliver.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have to go into it like after I watch this, because he's got a face, and I don't really think of Oliver as something I've seen a lot of, so I don't know why his face is.
But this is just to say this though, it's been about 6 months since Maid Marian seen Robin Hood, yeah, because loads of times passed, and he's eventually getting a bath.
Was he the Dodger in Oliver, do you mean?
Yeah.
Or just one? Was he one who goes, come and save yourself at home, come and save yourself, love the family, that one?
Possibly.
No, never mind. You just got a free song there.
It's a dedication going into that.
Sing us Little Shop of Horrors.
Nah, I don't. No, I can't.
There you can.
You guys a ringtone, haven't you?
No, not my new phone, unfortunately.
Oh, never mind. I'll do a proper record another one when I do Paul Racing's the movies during Christmas.
Well, this isn't Kevin Costner.
Nope, he refused to do it. Silly plonker. Get your tacos out, it'll be fine.
Oh, I see. Could be your eyes.
Again, this isn't too far. This isn't too far away from us either.
Well, a naked man in a stream.
No, that'll be you later on when he sends a picture of you in the shower, probably.
You wish.
She's well pervy on her, wasn't she? I don't ever remember her being like pervy.
Well, another thing as well, it's one of the only scenes you see he's actually got scars on his back from the whipping.
Yeah.
And you see it through the waterfall, so you don't really see it as like a reveal, like, oh shit, like Rambo, when they're like, on First Blood, where they like see Rambo's chest, holy shit, call the chief, you know, like.
Yeah.
I always think the bit where he goes, Robin! Then Marion jumps is a really good reaction, I mean.
Something I wrote down earlier on, because I knew I'd forget, but just that it should be definitely mentioned. Obviously, Sean Connery will appear later on, and he did two days' work, and the dude got $250,000 for that. He donated it all to charity.
Yeah.
Oh, makes sense.
Should be mentioned, obviously.
Yes.
But he also played Robin Hood in Robin and Marion a few years before this.
With Audrey Hepburn, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it's only his movie before that probably would have been about the Highlander, was it?
Highlander 2, I think he was meant to be. I think he was. I don't know if he was. What year did that come out? Or what year was it filming? Highlander 2. I'm sure there was something about him coming on set during. I think it said during the filming of Highlander 2. Let me have a quick look. I'm sure I read that somewhere.
You cheeky Johnny, you Robin.
It just says Sean Connery came on to film this uncredited cameo following the film of Highlander 2, The Quickening.
This is such a good scene, isn't it?
Another typical casting though is when Sean Connery's in First Night playing the same character but like evil, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yes. I played the king twice. See?
See, why you can't trust a woman?
Should give him a wet willy in his ear. That would have been better.
Had any of you had a dabble in the old...
What, Wet Willies? No, Jack has though.
That's a different podcast.
No,
it's a lot harder than lyrics. Yeah, I've done a little bit, but no.
Horse riding, archery. You are Robin Hood.
Damn it, it's all coming out.
With Carl of the Hood. Like Boys in Hood, but just Carl.
Did you bring me Hit the Brag?
He's such a spoil-rich boy, isn't he? But you can actually see him being that, couldn't you? As a kid.
But I think that's a really good character flaw in Robin Hood, in the sense of I think maybe he jumps too much into it this quickly, but a lot of the adaptation towards Robin Hood, I think they've done it well in the sense of he doesn't portray the hero immediately. He is a bit self-entitled, a little bit of a spoiled brat. But
we're going to the historically accurate Robin Hood Disney. He was a fox. It's not just because he didn't realise.
Exactly.
Because he didn't realise.
I know, but the payoff about him being a bad kid, there's the twist reveal that Will Scarlet's his brother.
Oh,
yeah.
Spoilers, man.
I mean, they're really up there. That's not like blue screen backdrop.
Blue screen. Yeah.
But that's not. It is a great shot, but it's such an easy one at the same time.
Oh yeah.
Imagine it's effective. I don't want to take away from it. I just mean it's such a well put shot, but all he literally did is put his weight on the foot, and that was it.
It's also a bit like Hook as well. Hook had a lot of that kind of this kind of feel. Do you know what I mean? Like the Enchanted Forest thing. Hook had that as well, didn't it?
I think Hook was too studio. It was too studio based. You could tell it was fake. You could tell it was fake Hook. Obviously it's just a movie, but you could tell the sets were just sets. But going back down there before, when they're coming on going down a rope, they would probably have the timer perfect with the sun going down.
Oh, the golden hour. You would have had a few shots of that. Then that sun's gone.
I'd say yeah. They probably did a few days just get it right.
Something you don't have to worry about now if you use the volume.
Oh yeah.
That was one of the things I mentioned in the volume episode. We're talking about how lighting was no longer an issue because obviously it's all created.
Yeah. This is extended, isn't it? This bit.
No.
Really? They should ask him why he's.
Did God paint you's always been in the line? Then obviously, they're just giving these guys. Well, I think is because I think Morgan Freeman though, like here, he's been out the film for quite a bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was gonna say he had. Well, it's rightly so that he's not gelling with everybody because he's in such a. Well, he and also everyone else is treating him as such a an outcast, really, isn't it? Like he's such a foreigner.
But he has his big speech for everyone to follow him, and everyone's like, right, to see him. He knows what he's actually talking about. So, again, there's a lot of things put in there. But Morgan Freeman, as a character there, has been out the film for quite a bit.
Yeah.
Getting them guys in the background just to have to all do that quiet. Look like you're having a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To the Return of the Jedi, Ewok song at the end. Dooba, dooba, dooba.
Back to one, and again.
Is this this bit?
No.
Come here, honestly, I can't remember.
Paul, have you seen this film before?
I have, yeah, but Mason's the expert. Mason's the expert.
Right? Well, that's why you've never heard me answer you one. Because, like I say, I mean, this is just a film now to me. Because I would have to watch them side by side to see what's not in.
Yeah, and this is like when I was watching it, said this is my definitive edition of Robin of the Hood, Prince of the Thieves, of the extended version of movie. So yeah, it's hard to remember what's in it, what's up. I know Mason's like the expert in Robin of the Hood, the Prince of the
Robin of the Hood.
movie. Did this get released as a final recently, or was it just from?
No, this is. I tell you when I got the vinyl from, because obviously there's a guy at a CM boot sale, and he had First Blood, and he had Escape from New York, and he was wanting 25 quid. And don't get us wrong, they're in really good conditions. And I was like, all right, and I managed to get First Blood off him for 20, and I was quite happy with it because I haven't seen it since on eBay, and like. You do see Escape from New York around for about 35 quid, but Escape from New York's been reissued with a second vinyl now and extended, so do you know what I mean? But Brittany came back from this other stunt. She had and she had Robin Hood, and £6 you paid for it, and it's in lush condition, but it's really like you could literally just waff it, and it's very flimsy, but like the score's class, and it ends with Bryan Adams.
I listened to the score recently. I think it was just on YouTube. It's just on there because I think last time I seen it was on tape cassette for £3.49 or something like that on eBay. That's the last time I've seen it.
I've got the 12-inch single and the little single as well, but it just does not. It hasn't had like many special editions or a steelbook from what I know.
No. Quiz time. How many weeks did Everything I Do for You stay number one?
13.
21.
Nope. 16.
I was close.
That was close. 13.
I know. Sorry, man. It's past me tablets time.
The drugs are kicking in.
I was telling you, yeah.
Has anything beaten that? I wonder.
Oh yeah, Meatloaf.
What?
Oh, what song that? Do you know?
I would do anything for love.
I guess the irony of would have been it.
You just won't do that, though, will you?
But that really annoys me, that when people still have to just say, but you still don't know what he wouldn't do. Listen to the lyrics, boy, you'll understand.
At least it looks like a newborn baby, not just one with hair and cleaned. No.
Well, again, it's the umbilical cord that sells that. The umbilical cord, because you just don't normally see it. I mean, it's not like Tom Green's biting the fucker off, but it's it's a fact that it's like there. Again, this is another reason why Azim's accepted. Do you know what I mean? Especially by Friar Tuck and that as well.
Oh yeah.
And then Little John just goes around showing him like a new pop vinyl.
That's
it's like Mason. It is like Mason is pop idols and Colin is pop idols.
Oh, he's beautiful. I like the guy who shouts, "Oh, he's a beautiful John." That guy's nowhere near him.
Nah.
That was me. Yes, I go. That's beautiful. I call.
Yeah. Yeah, the nice words you had there for.
No, they're really good sculpts.
Oh, I love them. Like I say, I'm not dropping down that rabbit hole, but like I say, when I see ones that are that nice, I just think, nah, I can control that. I just need. Catwoman's on the way now.
Yep.
Well, me lava lamp, me and Brittany were cancelling it, and so they're like, "Oh, give us our money back," and like asked for a refund. Then they fucking sent it anyway, and I'm like, idiots.
Well, this is happening a lot lately, isn't it? Because I mean, I got my second copy of Sonic. Oh, we got his 3 figures.
Are you still selling that?
Well, I think it's a bargain price, but
Yeah,
you didn't seem very interested, so I wasn't going to push it for it.
I'll buy it off you.
Brilliant, 25 quid.
Fuck off.
You know what it is? I totally sold it. Not that I would change the price, because I'm not like that. But I totally, when I said 10 quid, and I was like, "Hey man, I'm giving you 50% off." I forgot it was 30 quid. I'm giving you more than 50% off.
But no, I can buy it off you. Then we can do a podcast. See, I'm thinking that, yeah.
This is really good. Like, I mean, the mist in the background and the shadowing.
Well, this is the cover of the single though as well, isn't it, for Bryan Adams?
Yeah, that's why.
Controversial though, is there not too much fog? I would have demisted it just ever so slightly. I want to see what's going through the fog, but without really saying it.
Carl,
That just seemed a bit too white.
Paul, do you want to say it or should I say it?
I need to say it.
It's just a movie. It's just a movie.
No, because that's the only time I would disagree with that, because yes, it is just a movie, but this film, I praised all the way through this film how detailed and how awesome the visuals are, and I just think if I was on set, my humble opinion would be, how a lad, just turn the smoke machine down just a touch.
The thing is, I like it like that because you're only concentrating on the 2 main characters, and obviously Duncan.
Can I just point something out? Do you realise how much fucking mist they must have had to use to fucking mist an open area? Like,
yeah, that's why it takes me out of it, because that's the thing I'm thinking. I'm thinking that's not natural. Well, it is natural, I suppose, but it's not like, it's unrealistic. But sure, it's just a film.
And you know what? Robin Hood used to be a fox.
yeah. So who was the snake?
In the future because of this.
So who was the snake?
The snake, that was Prince John, wasn't it?
No, Prince John's sidekick. Prince John was the lion. Or the tiger.
He was the lion. I don't think he was a character. I think they made him up, didn't they? Wasn't he just a generic character?
He was just the sidekick, yeah.
Yeah.
He got drunk, didn't he?
A lot.
In a barrel. Up here.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be cut out now. I'm blind, but it's something to still see.
That's like you, that. Again, that extra there who's playing Bull, he would have been there all that time just standing in the background. He's watching the film. There I am.
Yeah.
It would have been about a week. That would have took about a week to film that, you know, the amount of smoke.
Paid for it, didn't he?
Oh, he did. Oh, look at her nails. Oh. This is extended.
Reminds of Jackass 2 for the nails, where they drinks the beer from the... Sorry.
The scar sealing up quite nicely.
Well, it has been about a year.
No, I wasn't being sarcastic. I'm just like the detail towards that. Like the fact that they have altered it and moved it, and obviously a little bit, but only a little bit. You know what I mean?
Oh,
that just being.
Some people pay money for that.
It's the blood, the spit, and the squeaking. It's fucking horrible.
Your chair is, I know.
Oh, thanks.
Hey, I'm on it tonight. Like
You are? Stay off them tablets. You're on form.
See, I reckon if you were really, like, if you were clever, you could totally edit the footage of your toe bleeding, Mason, in the scene with her, and it would totally work.
Oh. I've got a habit of pulling my toenails off, Paul. If you don't know that.
I know you've sent me one before, and I think that's a few times I've actually been put off my dinner, actually, especially the Formula overnight.
Let's not talk about that in the
Thanks,
podcast.
Mason. No.
All I got was, there goes me porridge.
I have 2 meals a day and that was ruined. No, is that a crayon or is that wax called?
Say again?
Was that wax that she used there, was it?
It was indeed, yes. If you ever want to see something very much like that, if you just call down into the local museum in the northeast called Beamish, we have about 200,000 of them just lying around.
Excellent, I'll just walk in. I'm not going to pay for it. I'll just walk in.
Yeah, sure, yeah, of course.
Excellent.
When you know people.
He's just got sex pest written all over him. And that looked like Liam Gallagher fucking behind him.
With the hair.
Aye. Oh, it does. Liam Gallagher now. Or Noah, one of the two. I mean, how she doesn't see that, I mean... Douche.
Oh.
This is, I think, this is an extra as well.
Yeah,
The Cult.
that was very missed out, wasn't it, in the theatrical? It just gives the sheriff more of a backstory and why is he doing stuff for, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine.
Fucking Braun Strowman there. Oh, fuck.
There's yours. Merry Christmas, everyone. Oh no, it's been cancelled, isn't it?
But again, though, this shows you how he gets the Barons.
Because they just bloody appear, don't they?
Because he says, before the next moon, before the Barons come back, so this explains why they've come back.
And isn't there like a main one on here? Or if I'm thinking of something else?
Well, I think the guy with the white hair and the beard there, that was the guy who got robbed with that woman in the chest before.
Yeah.
A lot of money got into that production.
Look at that, man. I forgot about this bit.
It's idle hands, that.
Is he trying to build a golf course or something and just needs some funding? He just needs to find a lady.
Do you know what I find amazing about that? Like, how, like, I mean, don't get us wrong, but like how they've got that aerial look of Britain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. You're right.
I mean,
It reminds me of on this morning and all the floating weather thing outside. You have to jump onto it.
Forgot about that.
I mean, look at
That's
it.
in there. And you was the main person on it. I just couldn't remember. Can you imagine if you got, I'm in this Robin Hood film. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm this bad guy. Oh, great. Yeah. Then you go and see the film and you cut out.
Yeah.
Well, that's come up recently, though, hasn't it? About Wes Craven's Cursed. How there's an alternative couple like Corey Feldman and stuff in it.
Yeah. I think, what you call him? I'm not going to remember his name now. He's got a funny name. The guy, are you familiar with Shaun of the Dead?
Yeah.
Simon Pegg.
So you know,
Nick Frost.
you know the roommate. He's well known. He's been in loads of stuff.
Yeah. He was in lots of TV shows.
Yeah. Well, he was hired to do all the voice work for Darth Maul. It was another one where apparently I think he found out a couple of days before the premiere that they just didn't use any of your lines whatsoever. And he tells a story about how he got the letter and everything, saying obviously you were invited to the premiere and everything. And he's just like I think the guy who he's been interviewed by is going, oh, what did you do? Was it good? He's like, I didn't go. They just essentially cut everything out I did for that film. Why am I going to go?
So this guy who got cut out, the guy who got cut out had to wait 13 years, not me, no, even longer, for it to come out as an extended edition.
Well, it's like
I hate to say it, but he's still alive.
Well, it's one of the biggest ones. Again, it's only in America, but Hot Tub Time Machine 2. John Cusack's not in that movie, right? But if you watch the uncut version, John Cusack comes back at the end and shoots one of them and goes back in time and sets up for a third one. And that's just called... He's not even in the movie.
No.
This is the extra bit, isn't it?
Wonky nose? No, this is not new.
Yeah.
This is...
I don't think I've seen this film before.
I just want to mention, historically, that would be fucking red hot. She just picked up a massive metal bar that's been over a fire for God knows how long.
There's some chicken on it. Some KFC.
Do you want to do a ring back, Mr. Mason? We're on 54 minutes.
Yeah, just to point out though, this is very much like Turtles, isn't it? When the Foot Clan follow them back to the lair.
Yeah.
They're just hiding in the shadows. Right, I'll give you...
better. If Turtles came out of the shadows.
Whoa. Right, I'll give you the ring back.
I mean, that's a title, that.
Yeah, that's all.
Right, so we're up for part 2. We've still got fucking hell, we've still got an hour left. So yeah, we've been talking prior. I'm very curious if the lads pick all this up, you know, because if the lads like really listen to it and then notice that I've been giving them a bit of shit halfway through it and stuff like that, you know what I mean? It's part of the fun of the podcasts. So yeah, we'll give these guys a call back. Hi,
Oh, hi, gang. But yeah, you're right. Those foot soldiers going in there to follow Duncan is. You're right. Yeah. I like the messaging. I always forget about this bit. They use arrows for like messaging. That means hello.
I could say they only noticed that because of the sound effect, which is the only thing that wouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
Now this is a pretty mental fight going on here, though.
Where?
Do you mean coming up?
Yeah.
I was gonna say where.
Yeah. I was gonna say he's still talking about.
He's still got his eyes closed. You know that?
Remember, you saw in nothing. Load weapon 1, man.
Right. 3 arrows mean something's happening. And 4 arrows, apparently 4 arrows.
I always try to work out what it is. Alla Liebe! Some fucking crazy ass. Oh, there's the catapult.
There you go.
I'm sure mine's a ram. Well, I've got the toy.
To the trees!
With all the blue the bad guys are wearing there, it could easily just be like a deleted scene from like Braveheart. What
You know
actually
what's
happened at the
worse?
end of the film?
The old fool just led them to them. The old fool led them to them. Ugh.
I mean, it's like you didn't see it coming.
Nah. Bloody Duncan, man. But yeah, you're right. It is kind of like Braveheart-ish, isn't it? Which is good. I love Braveheart.
It's awesome, Braveheart.
Aye.
There's a lot. I mean, this is just frantic. This. I mean, you've got the upper level. You've got like it's full 360.
We've got an Xbox One.
Aye.
Yeah, it is a good shot. Like even the music just goes to it straight away. Yeah, there's no pictures.
I mean, was that a woman there? Because I always think it's a
I
woman.
think it was.
I
That-
don't assume genders, mate.
You know, like every film has a Willem scream, don't it? Miss Mutin, it's got like a bow staff there. I like it when they think they're winning and the music goes and they think, oh yeah, they're winning, it's doing really good.
Yeah.
They're doing awesome. And then it's like, oh, wait there, no.
Aye, it's the whole impending doom of like, and then like obviously it becomes nighttime quite quickly, doesn't it? So
this explains the main bad guy from before, and I mean, he's not just a random guy, so it's a main bad guy. Like a hitman, really, isn't he?
wee. That's it. You know what that kicks off? That's the same kind of kick as that's how he gets around the boat in Waterworld.
I do love that in Waterworld. Like, that's the same person as before. The person that was shot before.
There's been a many of duplicates
Well, again, it just comes how it's going to come out in the edit as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're winning. Everything's all right now. Yay!
Now, Little John's up there with a bow and arrow. He was just bashing heads down there with his club before.
True.
Chewing bubblegum and come kick some ass.
Okay.
Yeah, we won. Oh, hang on, what the bloody hell is this?
This was a game changer for the playset. The catapult.
I like it how the arrows are a constant thing in here as well. That it's something like just one wave. It's constant. So like you go back to the Jeff Hardy, and then they're just obviously setting it on fire. But again, that wants to add loads of productions. I mean, fucking hell, boom! How they made all that? You know what I mean? It's fucking amazing.
Very impressive, like.
Most impressive.
I love that miscue. You think that's them hit with the ball, and then he's on the floor. And like again there, like he was just up the fucking tree, and he's running off. He just hit the horse in the face. I mean, oh.
Yep.
No horses were harmed in the production of this film. I actually can't say that. I don't know if they were.
It's gold. It's gold.
We got 50 pence for the bus, mate. Yeah, just go funny. Which means bum in America and it means something different over here. But I'm not allowed to say it because it's a PG.
Vagina.
Gucci.
The front bump.
The Beaver.
The rites of passage.
The Fairy Cup.
Let's just end this with the cunt. Right, okay.
That's what I didn't say it for.
It's funny because anyone from overseas watching this, he'd be like, it was all going fine until he said the same word.
Well, we don't drop it often.
The shot is absolutely great, yeah, like, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think the setup as well, that he's up there and he hears it.
The focus pull was really good on it. On the rope.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a hell of a leap as well.
The thing is, he's wrapped around the neck, isn't he?
It looked that weird, didn't it?
Add in the fact that the baby's on there as well.
Yeah. It just hung around the neck.
Busted.
Bloody little sword. That's like a thing we get at the park, isn't it? Well, at the woods.
Now I love it how I love it how he falls off here, and then later on he has to walk up with a big dramatic reveal in the shadows. Christian, like.
Yeah.
There's no sacrifice, just a hole in a hole.
Zoomf.
Apparently, in the original ending, this bitch here, it just says the end when the film finishes.
I mean, the thing is, the medallion though, it's like he went through the roof. He only going to fall through the roof. They find the medallion, which clearly is on a roof. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, yeah.
I mean, all you have to do for medallion is just burn it on your hand, and you've got a copy of it, haven't you? Burn on your hand.
Yeah, well, of course. Historically, that's what they all did.
So you never can. How many freaking movie things I've just referenced in this film? Jesus Christ.
Is that a religious point?
Yeah, because in church.
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Superstar.
Hey!
Jinx.
My own bloody protection, eh?
Some crazy curly hair that girl has. don't know why I said that like Yoda first. Kelly, that girl has.
So here, he's got a letter and Robin Hood's dead. It's just like he's got all the pieces of the puzzle.
You can never trust him, can you?
Nah. The man of God, I mean, he dedicates himself to a fairy tale.
Yep. I better take my Holy Cross off the case, or say something naughty.
Yes, I should probably say that I'm not an atheist, but I'm not the firmest believer, of course.
I like here as well. You see her mate just in time. But obviously she got her head knocked on the horse ages ago.
I was going to say, surely she's in the woods somewhere, concussed.
But there she is there. It's like...
Yeah. You got 50 pence for the bus, mate.
Get back to Sherwood.
That's a good shot, though, isn't it? We've got the priest in the background, we can just see his head. You know what I mean? Search your heart, my child. Search your soul. And when you find me there, you'll search no more.
Search no more?
That should be a song, that.
It's catchy.
Oh. Ta-da!
No, no.
Well, he threatens the kids, doesn't he? Remember much now. But did you have action figures, Mason and Carl, when you were kids?
I think I had one or two, but they're long gone. But as I say, I got the battering ram off
Yeah.
Matt
I've
Davies.
seen
Like,
them on, because obviously you got the tubs, you got the bubble gum card shoulders of night, didn't you?
yeah, they're really expensive. I would kind of like for my Christian Slater collection, like to have one of them, but like the 40-odd quid.
Oh, the crazy prices.
This is it, you know. I mean, I was having a little mini rant about this the other day, and I get why they're doing it, but it just feels a little bit harsh when we're getting all these re-releases of what looks like retro figures. And in all fairness, back in the day, they weren't the most expensive commodity. You know what I mean? Like those sort of figures you could totally get for a couple of quid, but it's the biggest con in the world now. People are buying them as well, but for like nearly 19 quid a pop per figure. It's just like, it's not like the details, they're literally designed as they would have been in the 80s. So it just feels, I love them, I love the alien ones and stuff like that, but I can't bring myself to...
You know what's really scary about that though, is people then, like say for example, eBay, what wouldn't be a thing for what, maybe it's another decade, maybe it's 2?
Yeah.
And people were buying up there and storing it, that they might be worth something someday. So you know what I mean. People will be still hoarding. Now eBay's a big thing.
If you go on eBay and look for a Prince of Thieves, just looks the shops mint though, isn't it?
But what's the shadow of?
Him?
Well, no, I know it's him, but...
Oh, it's when he gets... Well, no, that's when he gets dropped off.
Shadow of?
Yeah, but that's when he gets dropped off by the aliens.
Right, is that in the extended?
Yeah, it's the extended version, yeah.
Right.
Did you guys realise that was Splinter? That was all for Splinter. But
it's a crossover. Yeah.
You go on eBay, put on the Prince of Thieves, you probably pick up an original 1981 version of it for like 15, 20 quid. But the artwork is like really good on them, but yeah.
Well, this is it. I mean, I know because I sound like a proper old man thing to say, but can you remember when eBay was a place to go to get things for cheap?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, the thing is now it's like...
You can still get a bargain or two on eBay, but it's literally now, people are charging premium prices for things, if not more than that.
Aye. Plus there's no bidding, or you did not meet reserve bid, or like, you know what I mean? It's just like, fuck off. You meant to put it on... Yeah. It's like starting bid, like 106 quid. Well, no.
Yeah. Exactly, that's not how it works. You put it up there and you say how much you make.
And if it doesn't sell, if someone gets a bargain, you get a bargain. It's just like, oh.
Yeah.
Why is Chris Slater the only one that's hanging around?
Upside down.
Because it's his brother. Spoiler alert. He knows and sense it.
I love
But
it.
you do when it
It's
comes
this
to-
shot though. This shot though, when he looks really into him, it's really
Yeah,
cool.
when it turns upside down. The camera goes upside down, doesn't it? If I remember right.
Shut up.
Shut up! Jinx.
It's
So
this
again,
this bit here.
Kind of, not quite
Yeah.
fisheye, but it's kind of zoomed in.
It is really good. You don't see stuff like that in films, do you? Because it would have to be framed perfectly, but that's just all one shot really.
But it's like the style of the decade, isn't it? I mean, for once upon a time, like, we were going through every action film using shaky cam. You know what I mean? It's just like, that used to be like a technique. Like, very
You
short
can
lived.
tell.
Well, another thing what's
tell-
different now though, by the way, sorry guys, is if you did it now, studio executives and stuff like that have a live feed and stuff like that, so they can actually see and then just go back and film that. Back then, you're still filming on. If you didn't catch it in a raw cut of Video Village, you know what I mean? By the time studio executives get dailies, maybe it's a week later, maybe it's even 2 weeks if it's America, they'll be like, oh, it's too fucking late, we can't afford to fucking refilm that now. And that's how stuff just got, you know what I mean, how directors got away with stuff. But now it's sometimes directors just, you know, they're a hired hand to what they... Yeah.
Yeah, got no power. They just get constantly told.
But then if it...
That's one of the biggest downfalls of films in this day and age, when people say, oh, the producers, not the producers, the companies wouldn't stay away and stuff like that. Fox used to be awful for it.
Well, as well, people like, if people hear, oh, it's a low-budget movie, or it's independent, or I haven't heard of that, people are less likely to give it a chance. But then again, it's probably someone who's directed something you absolutely love. You won't know who's directed it, but they've like went, fuck this, I've had enough of like studio, and go off and make like Joe Dante. When was the last time Joe Dante made a big budget movie? He doesn't bother. A lot of his films come out low budget, and they're really well made. They've got a bit of charm, but he just cannot be fucking arsed to make studio films anymore.
Yeah.
It was that Bionic X or something, the last one I really know, and The Hall, wasn't it?
Mm.
The Hall was really good. I thought it was, you know. But before, you could tell that Alan Rickman had such a good time doing this film. You can just tell.
Yeah.
Not half an hour again, sorry.
Well, again, though, he got a good paycheck by the end of it because you turned down a film twice. The settlement you're going to get is going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
Did he only get like 400,000 for Die Hard, and Bruce Willis got like 2 million or something like that?
I can imagine that.
But Die Hard was one of his first American films, if not his first, wasn't it?
That's what I'm saying, I think it was his very first one. Oh god, he gets away, he'll smack you.
Yeah.
Bloody curtains. That's what you say, but me all the time. From now on, that'll be my new saying.
Talking about like films being made in the way they're better made and stuff like that, do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing that we have this world of, say, like I'll use an example of, say, Kevin Feige, who has obviously been pretty much put in charge of the MCU. So essentially, it's all under the same umbrella. So it's like, I don't think the Marvel films all come off looking, well, they look the same in a lot of ways because they're using all the same technology. But it's feeling like there's no like kind of personality.
Yeah. But that's why they're bringing on Sam Raimi for Doctor Strange 2.
Yeah.
They're completely different, and Sam Raimi will do a really great job, you know what I mean?
Oh,
When's the last time Sam Raimi had a freaking film out that he directed? See, there's another one.
Well, they fucking drag me to hell when the goat starts giving them shit.
I love Drag Me to Hell.
I've never seen it.
Mate, if you love Evil Dead, it's basically just like an Evil Dead 4. Just
Well, this is why I was curious when they announced him as Doctor Strange 2 director, because I thought I could get what he would bring to it, but I would find it hard to believe if that's what they want.
Yeah.
To bring to it.
But then again, Sony was being awkward, so obviously Marvel, Disney would say just do what you need to do, because obviously the Spider-Man films restarted everything again, didn't he? This is this is so lovely. This bit where he gives him a kiss. I mean, no, sorry, not this bit. The truth comes out now, doesn't it?
See, I don't think he delivered that very well. That's just me. It's very forced. I don't know. I mean,
Well, from what you get from the commentary, I think Christian had a bit of problem getting to the point where he needed to be here.
yeah. I mean, I can see he's really trying, but I think that's also the problem. I can see him really trying.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I still think it's one of his good roles.
Have you ever seen Untamed Heart?
No.
I think he made Untamed Heart the year after this, and he's fucking brilliant in that. But he's just that.
Broken Arrow.
I like Broken Arrow.
Yeah, sure, cheesy.
Even like his role in Young Gun 2, I really enjoyed that. And like I say, even though his character was kind of a made up, kind of off the cuff character, his personality came through really well.
I mean, as an actor, when I seen him in that play in London, Glenn Ross, he was fucking brilliant live. Do you know what I mean? I was like, 'cause I don't go and see much theatre, and I was just absolutely blown away by that show.
Yeah. So just for your answer before, Sam Raimi did Drag Me to Hell, but then he did Oz the Great and Powerful.
Oh, that was a bit of a stinker.
It didn't get well received. I didn't think it was terrible, but it didn't get very well received. Rake, which is a TV series, he did 2 episodes on that. He did one on Ash vs. Evil Dead.
Yeah, the pilot.
He's done a short film called The Black Gondola, something like that. And nothing else after that. So Doctor Strange's coming in that, but he's also got something called The King Killer Chronicles and something called World War 3.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a war film.
Could you do me fact and figures for the budget, the box office for this film? Because obviously I can use my phone at the moment.
I'll carry you, mate, don't worry.
Thanks, man. Someone has to.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm laughing. It's not like I've got a good track record of facts and figures. So
Now this is great. This is a great reveal of the peak hole.
It is, yeah.
He's finally noticing.
What the bloody hell? This happened to Mason, doesn't it, Mason?
Aye.
I found out.
I'm surprised he didn't burn his fucking beard there, mind. I love the shot though of the finger going in and then it's moving around. It's like
that is very parody. That that's not a very serious thing.
And it's overacting with his eyes.
Right, sorry, bud. I'm going to dip out for 2 seconds.
No worries.
Oh, look what you've done, Paul. He's had to go and think about the facts and figures.
I know.
He's going to rehearse them just in case he gets it wrong.
He has to make sure it's the right Robin Hood for him, the Disney one. Oh, bless him. I just haven't got me. Obviously, I'm using my phone at the moment, so I cannot really check my facts and figures for it. But yeah, like me and you, Mason. Like, there's only a few films that me and you love, and it is like The Thing. It is, but Robin Hood is one that we share a lot of interest in.
I mean, it's definitely. I mean, obviously, like Waterworld will be the sequel we do of this of the podcast. Like, are you going to say about that before that?
I was just about to say, it's like, you've got fond memories of film, I've got fond memories of film. Kids these days won't even know what this film is, so that means we're the generation that has to kind of pass it down and on and on and on. I mean,
and I tell you what's really good about this, there's very limited CGI in it.
Isn't there?
Well, there's a bit with the fucking bow and arrow.
I think that was just ILM, wasn't it? Just on the Bruce Lee.
Well, again, they're in trickery, but it's aged well. Do you know what I mean? It's not like. It looks really good. It's like it's all practical sets. It tells. I mean, if you think of Robin Hood, you think of it being an old story. So yes, the film does carry longevity if it is a old-looking film. But I think this film's really good. But this delivery here, this is all extra. I carried you in my womb and smuggled you in as a child. It's a very dark, twisted subplot reveal.
because obviously from 1991 till what 2004, 2006 or something like that, I never knew she was his mother.
Yeah, because it's completely like erased from the movie. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, it's like in Waterworld. It's like, oh yeah, they get to dry land and it's Everest because they find the plaque of Everest and it makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you think they cut that out of the original movie, which is just ludicrous.
It is. It's crazy, isn't it? Like how much stuff gets cut. And to be honest, like how many other films have like special editions and director's editions that we don't even know about? You know what I mean? They'll just bring out anytime. But I think films like this should have like the theatrical one and the extended one on the same disc. You know, like used to be years ago, you could choose which one, or have two discs, so you don't have to have the same film twice in your collection. But they said this year is my definitive edition of Robin Hood because it's one that makes more sense and more backstory of Nottingham. I mean, and what he has to do.
Agreed. Again, going back to not enough things being put on Blu-ray, not utilising the side editions.
Well, again, though, talking about like Arrow Academy just dumping this out with no extra features or all that, and like, you know what I mean? If Arrow acquired it, you'd think that they would give it the Arrow video label.
Yeah.
To be honest, wasn't this one like the first Warner Brothers DVD? Oh, that's not like this, wasn't it?
Yeah. Snapcase, yeah.
I'm sure it was. So the track record is whoever comes in DVD first normally ends up on 4K first. Sometimes if you notice that, like the Matrix films, 4K, Ghostbusters DVDs on 4K. So I reckon if they do a really good, they give it a proper clean, because there's a lot of dirt and grain, which is really good because it shows you the film. But if we give it a proper nice clean and reissue it again with every single special features, would be amazing. But then again, amazing, like you said, with Arrow and the fingers of Warner Brothers, there's a good chance that Lee could have more bonus stuff to do with special edition. It needs it.
I just don't understand when a film just gets a bare bone release. Do you know what I mean? Because like,
it must cost them more money, if anything.
Yeah, and have to buy the. To be honest, like, that's usually why sometimes on Laserdisc, like, let's say there's some more features on the Laserdisc than there is on the DVD than the Blu-ray, because every time they release it, they have to buy the rights to the songs to use. Go back to Elvis, that's the way it is. There's 2 songs cut out on the 2004 edition on the Blu-ray or the DVDs because they couldn't get the rights to that to the songs anymore. But if you watch Laserdisc, it was alright at the time. It's like when you watch like Married with Children, they couldn't get Love and Marriage, Frank Sinatra, rights to that
for DVD.
Yeah,
that's right.
Too much money, so they just did a really bad overscore of it, and it just doesn't work.
Especially for something so iconic as well, that TV series. It relies on that one theme music because that's what you know of as soon as you hear it.
But how easy to transfer like extras from, like, say, Prince of Thieves special edition and DVD to like a Blu-ray, you know what I mean? And still charge $7.99, but it's all about rights, isn't it? But I'll pay in money. There's loads of stuff we can do with this. This does need a first edition, and this poop bit makes me feel a bit.
Because I mean, don't get me wrong, like, but there's nothing good about that Steam. There's no shit in the Steam like that.
I love it how no one notices him going up the wall though.
Yeah. There you go, my lovely. It's like 1960s Batman, isn't it?
No, like, this guy just approaches him. Old crooked nose.
Yeah, you bloody stink. He's in it loads, isn't he, in the special edition, in the extended editions. Oh my god, you bloody stink.
Bless. There was a story, not really a story, there was a headline today of Lady Gaga giving a homeless man some money who was dead sweet. Apparently, like, she leaned in to do a photograph with him, and he, like, kind of half pushed her away, apparently, and said, "Oh no, you don't want to, I smell." And then apparently she just gave him a massive hug and goes, "Oh, don't worry, I smell too."
No.
And I was like, "Oh, that's quite sweet."
How much money did she give him?
Didn't state. Not about how much money, Nathan, come on.
I love this. This scene here is really good, which drops swords and what are you doing?
I loves a good hanging, me.
I'm built up, my lovely.
That's just flat out murder.
Yeah.
She's not Scottish. She's Yorkshire something, doesn't she? Country. Yeah. I know, I love her. Could have spent all the film thinking of her as well. Did you check those facts and figures for the budgets and stuff for?
I've got it on screen, yes.
Yeah, we can, don't they?
Yeah. So obviously estimates on the budget was 48 million.
That's big. Yeah, expensive.
Big. Although in the opening weekend it made $25,625,602.
Right.
So it was already like kind of it had a good start. But worldwide it made $390,493,908. So I think you would call it a success.
Definitely, that's really good, that, like, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a lot. 390 million. I mean, that's like, even in this day and age now, if someone does even like 200 million, it's deemed as like a massive success.
Depends on the spend on it.
But I was about to say that, but unfortunately, I don't know, because like, there's no saying how long this was in the cinema for. I feel like
fucking weeks, this man.
It was the thing cinema with the soundtrack, with the single.
Yeah, well that was it. The only thing that really annoys me is that whenever, and yes, it's probably biased because I don't particularly rate the film that good, but when a lot of people talk about, oh yeah, but Avatar's up there in like the top 4, and I was like, no, the difference is Avatar, in my opinion, cheats, because it was released in the cinema, and then it was like months later that it got re-released on 3D, and then it got released again. Yeah, and it's just like, I'm not being funny, but you could put Star Wars on the cinema every other weekend and it would just make money easy. So I feel like whenever it comes to like whatever it made, it should be really down to what it made in its first run.
I think what it should also do is home release also. How much it made a home release.
Well, you got to remember though. You got to remember though, like VHS at this era, this would come out to rent and it would be 6 months before it came out to buy.
Yeah.
So it would pay, this would have made a lot of money for rent, and then obviously, box office Sky. If this era was really big at like getting movies in, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think we should start doing that, like on like especially IMDb, like home media sales or blah blah blah. Then you can put a figure how well it's done. It's a bit of box office. It's also longevity.
Even Kevin Smith mentioned it in one of his talks about like saying, obviously look at all his films and they do not do well at the cinema, but he's been able to make an entire career and made multiple films, and all his money was basically made to home video. That's why it really kind of pisses off a little bit, because obviously he's kind of not a sellout, but he's kind of gone back on it now. Because like if you go back to like Jane Silent Bob Strikes Back and that film was like completely loaded with extras and everything. And he says it in one of the interviews. He says obviously that's what he does. He knows that's where his money's made, so you make sure that he puts all of his effort into something like that. And like now, just like it says, bare bones. It's what we're doing. You've got to go international if you want to get a decent copy, because the English copies don't ever get released. We still haven't really got the. Have we got the deluxe edition of Dogma in this country?
No, Dogma's. I don't think. I think Dogma's discontinued again, because Dogma's now on Film 4 label.
Yeah.
It's all gone. It's all gone to pot now with this. I want to smack you. Oh god, that would hurt. That. It's just in that.
No need for it though, is it?
You alright? Now, there's been a minute where I always notice this bit. The bit when Chris's head's on there and he's going to get his head chopped off, and the guy goes, "Oh, I never miss," or something like that, but then a slabber comes out of his mouth onto Chris Slater's face.
Oh, there'd be fucking hell on if he did that now.
Do you know what I'm talking about, though, when you say it? It goes right to his face, and loads of like spit comes out. 2 seconds, I'll see if we can. I've always noticed it. Yeah. Any second now?
That's a proper gob. That's a proper gob.
See?
No, it's just not there anymore, though.
No, you don't gob in your face, do you?
Well,
I mean, I think it's a really well constructed set because it's been building and building and building at this point. But we know where everyone is and what we actually physically know what the overall plan is without really being told for her. But then obviously, and as soon as Robin goes there, you don't expect them to get hanged. But then, and then even just like the lower shots, like that.
God, that'd be so. Oh, it's horrible. That. The thing is, that's still one of the most dangerous stunts you can do in film. Because obviously, Back to the Future 3, LJ Fox actually really nearly died when he got hung on the clock tower. You know what I mean? On the set. It's such a good shot, though, isn't it?
And here comes the. You've got this one, and then you've got
the explosion one.
The explosion one, yeah.
Which is like the cover, wasn't it?
Yeah.
One time, if I remember right.
And just for the record, licking the feather historically makes no difference to the quality of the arrow.
Ah, it looks cool.
Yeah.
It looked cool.
That's the new one. It's just a movie, but then it's like it looks cool though.
It looked good.
That's my spin-off series.
It looks cool with Paul Ray.
We see me and Mason be sitting here going, we once upon a time had a lad called Paul Ray on this show, but you can now find him featured on his own channel. It looks good though.
Following in the footsteps of Oliver Harper, Duncan Casey and Richard Jackson, Paul?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Don't need just now, I've got my own kind of comedy now. I've got my beds. Never knows, my boys. Now this looks like a freaking heavy gate, this, like, isn't it? Bang, straight down there. No one can lift it up either.
And yeah, we're getting. Well, here we go. Here comes the cover shot coming. Oh, there's Pee Wee Herman there again. He gets hung.
What's this kid going to do? Try and help him up? What the kid should have done is actually went on his hands and knees and let him stand on his back, and then you could have saved him.
Used him with a stool.
Yeah. See that there? See it? Looks cooler.
Look cooler. The flaming arrow. The infamous shot.
So again, this is it. This is it.
That is an awesome shot.
Doink.
Did Kevin Costner actually had to do archery for this film, do you think?
Well, funny enough, Kevin Costner actually fired that shot. There's no CGI there or anything, so...
So he actually did some archery. Oh, bloody hell. Still got a bloody pot in it. Milk sops, that's what he says there. Come on, you milk sops. Must be an old phrase from the olden days.
I love that. He runs away with that fucking sword comes out.
His face, yeah.
So I just wanted to find out if you did do archery, and I just thought I'll let you know. In Google search, when you type in "did Kevin Costner," you get die, play a Batman, win an Oscar, or have throat cancer.
God.
There you go.
Jesus Christ.
Be careful to look on Google.
Yeah, well, you know, you've got to remember the internet never lies. Apparently.
There we go. This is his Independence Day speech. Freedom! Oh, that's Braveheart. Not Braveheart. Yeah, Braveheart speech. Before it was like loads and loads of people everywhere, and now it's just like a few people left.
It's a fucking hole. There's a hole in the wall, and everyone's been getting murdered. What do you think everyone's going to take around and take a selfie? Like, I mean,
I don't know. There's just not many people on the floor.
What? There now? There's fucking loads.
Yeah.
If that was now, that would be all CGI.
Yeah. But before, there was only like 4 people walking around, scratching their heads. Now it's a billion people.
Now this scene coming up is all in reverse, but obviously Christian Slater's line in it, I was mind blown when I seen the uncut version. Fuck me, he cleared it.
Didn't he? Isn't it dubbed over though, isn't it?
No, he actually says fuck me in this. It's blind.
Yeah.
I think it's blind me. He cleared it in the original.
Yeah, aye. Well, apparently he's just really into these roles because the way this is worded, apparently he did everything. So from learning to sail to the film messaging about how he was probably learning.
See, that's back. Sorry, that bit there is backwards. and going overs backwards.
Eh? Going over backwards.
It's just the jump
Are
off
you
the
jumping
wall.
backwards?
No, the jump off the wall, but what they've done is sort of reversed it, so it looks like they're going over the wall.
Oh, yeah, okay, right. I think.
And fuck me.
I don't get you.
Right, so when they go over the wall,
Great call.
they pretty much
Yeah.
jump off the wall backwards, and they've just reversed the footage.
But they went over the wall. Oh, right, I'm with you now, yeah.
That's how they got away with that
Came
shot.
over forward. But I get you now, yeah.
Oh, it didn't seem to swear.
Fuck me, he
Oh,
cleared
no.
it.
I was going to say, Mason, can you just reenact it?
Can I
Fuck
just
me,
say?
he cleared it.
Can I just
What do
say?
you mean?
For a 15 certificate film, Speed has more F-bombs than I've ever known in my life.
Oh, yeah, Speed. I mean, it's saying there, Speed's up there with White Man Can't Jump. Did you just fart?
No, I'm back, so. Happens when you lie in bed all day, like freaking jabbing the hood. Got bed sores
You
on
jabbing in
walls.
what? What are you jabbing?
Uh,
Jesus Christ, these podcasts take a dark turn, like.
just a little bit like. I like how you reference yourself as Jabba when you're clearly more Salacious Crumb.
Starting to look like Jar Jar Binks, Paul Ray, man.
At least I go, oh no!
It's just hilarious that whenever you hang up, it's the first thing that pops up on my screen is that picture that you posted.
I forgot which one it is. I'm gonna have to look
It's the
at
one
it
with
later
your
on.
Mr. Happy t-shirt.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Did you post it? But I must have missed that when we got the phone call. Or the
probably
first time
saying-
you hung up, it popped up on my screen. I was like, what the fuck's this?
Well, if you listen
was
back to
gonna
the
say that.
podcast, I actually like interact with that picture in between the first intermission.
I just wanted to listen to you.
Well, you weren't here. You
That was me
I was
trying
going
to
to say there
smile.
was a bit of a mid-conversation going when you first came on, so obviously you didn't. You just started without us.
Anyway, back to the film. Never mind about me. Come on. Alright, I'm not a McFly song. It's all about you. But not that song. Come on.
I'm just getting. Oh, I love this bit. Statue.
Bloody
I love the bit when
Oh,
Kevin Costner like stops to look at this the slash on the face and finds it funny. It's a little like little in a bit as well.
Running down the hall.
Uh,
Takes a second look, yeah.
zooms right up close to it to have a peek.
The House of Duar.
Oh, there goes the head.
Did you that English orc, isn't it?
Damn English oak.
There we go. I forgot how many friggin' things I know about this film. Like, just things that pop in my head. I haven't seen for ages. And he just continues with that.
We get through eventually. It's the scene where he sort of jumps up and like double knees them
That's
between the
right.
legs. It's really
The
like
legs go apart, yeah. Do it. Isn't that how you do it these days?
It's
No.
changed since Paul.
Right.
You know, it makes me laugh though in that sense of it. I mean, I don't think obviously it's well, I don't think, I know it's not taking this seriously now, but I love how like you could go through the whole ceremony and still most people wouldn't believe, like you wouldn't be counted as married if you hadn't done the deed on the night. Like, oh no, we didn't have sex, so it didn't count. You're still not married.
Well, obviously, in Braveheart, they tried to breed them out, didn't they? So on the first night of marriage, they did Luna Proctor, I think what it's called now, so they can actually breed the Scottish.
Yeah.
I think it's really weird. She just runs away with the spear in her. The painted man.
That's a,
The
I mean,
witch.
that's a weird death in itself because I don't know if it's because of the camera angle, but it looked like she was running towards him way too long to not be surprised by the fact that he's holding the spear directly towards her.
Yeah.
I mean, this bit here, it's like, there, like this bit here. That is like, wow.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm sure you're supposed to do it like that.
Shut up, mate.
Like camera angles, midway just goes straight towards the camera and then knocks it out. Can't you see? Oh, that's a do you mind?
We've just been married.
See that with me? Like a history lesson also what they call with me and you.
Yeah.
I've joined the ranks of Scottish Braveheart.
We'll get history lessons with Carl, and we'll get confessions of Paul Ray. I mean, it's like.
I'm not those 70s films.
But it look good.
Thank you.
Right underneath the jaw, it just feels like enacting just that tint of blood. It's like, fuck.
Especially when you have a shave for
Obviously, Mason, that's going to be you when you finally have a shave.
Yep.
Oh, you mean have a shave? Are you jumping on the bandwagon as well, no matter grief I've been getting the last couple of days? Are you going back to work? Are you going to have a shave? Like, no.
No, because I'm a fond believer that I want to see you grow this until as far as you can take it. I want to go to HMV and see Gandalf stood at the hill.
Wow. Gandalf. It's not grey.
Oh, God, no. I'm a bit pissed.
Oh, people don't pay money for that.
I'll be retaken today. I'm not joking, I had to shave last Thursday for the first time in nearly 2 months. Cut my face off.
What were you shaving like?
Would you like to know? Yes. Your sword, your sealed to Satan.
But even him, he's like flat murders him as well. I mean, again, keeping it a PG at the time. I mean, this has never been uncut.
No, it's
Please with putting all this stuff on, like.
because you don't physically see it though, do you? He
Oh,
just
yeah.
goes out the window, doesn't he?
But then you see him splattered on the floor. It's like, Jesus.
Do you? I can't remember.
How did he know there's only 30 of silver in there? Did he count them?
Yeah, so you did.
There you go, and splat, blood everywhere. I mean, it's definitely there.
Yeah. Paul, just to give you a heads up, historically, coins were made of gold and silver, so you don't actually need to count money, you just wait.
Right, so you straight away. Thanks, man.
Yeah,
See that? Me and Carl bring education to your channel, Mason.
You bring worry to my channel, mate.
I'll bring all the guys to the yard, apparently.
What, with your milkshake?
Oh no. I am horrible images now.
I know.
I am full of...
Get yourself on TikTok. Get yourself on TikTok and doing that. My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. Just you and fucking McDonald's milkshake. There you go, Paul.
I have to get a car first. It's only drive-through. 10 hours. Now, I love a bit we just froze the end of a sword. Like, as a kid, would throw something to another kid. I love that bit. Now, if he didn't steal that, he would have died.
Well, it's just I mean, it's a kind of like little plot device. I think it's part of the right and that. I think obviously with a medallion and stuff like that.
No. Jay gave that to him for charity, and Robin of the Hood stole from charity.
Right, he's a thief. What do you expect?
Yeah, he's a Prince of Thieves.
Exactly, he's the Prince of Thieves.
It's just not hardly a shock.
It's definitely not an Alan Rickman shock from Die Hard when they just let him go.
Yeah. Those wax burns are so painful.
There's a lot of drool coming from him, isn't there? I mean, I'm dying and that, but there's a lot of saliva.
Again, though, I think this will be coming where doing Shakespeare when you're younger for fucking 6 months in London pays off this.
Well, he's classically trained, isn't he? So.
Yeah.
I'll be able to do a take a few times. Look at Chris head off and gone for that. That was the 15th take he took. That death scene.
Hello.
Right.
No, it's the Running Man podcast.
Alright.
Thanks for listening. Goodbye for now.
There's two Masons.
Oh, well, one's called Abraham. That's right.
Well, that's it, yeah.
Oh, she's back, and then opens the door. Boomf.
Nice.
Just like.
That is some strength, right? Like to throw that.
I mean, again,
He's just been outside that door here now for the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, because he hasn't saved them once in this film in a year. He's never saved them until now. Let's say it took a year to the stage.
I've now repaid my vow.
I don't know if she cries or laughs. Yeah, I can't tell. You know, when women do that cry laugh.
Do do
I can see that
do
most
do.
women's reaction with me.
I mean, this action figures movies, that's what we're back into.
I think this as well, though. This was quite a big shock back then because you didn't have the internet and Facebook. Like, you think you get the wedding and it goes, halt! And you're like, as soon as you hear that voice, like, is that Sean Connery? And then it fucking is.
Yeah. Well, when you think about it, no one can expect him popping up at the end of this film, is it?
No.
Especially
This
with
is
already
true,
being in
right?
a Robin Hood thing.
Didn't mean Dragonheart reference.
Yes.
Love Dragonheart.
And Fryer took at the end, breaking the fourth wall. Now, here, get out of here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of celebration to do.
As I'm not quite sure what to do.
Woman, isn't it? Okay, that's not. The spider. You look radiant, cushion. They probably snugs her on the Mel Brooks one.
Yeah.
I am.
Is that Paris Stewart?
Thanks to you, I shall have a throne.
You may continue.
Yes. Thank you. I can do Kermit the Frog and Sean Connery impressions.
A fun fact I know about Fryer Tuck, actually he auditioned in LA, didn't get the part, but then auditioned for the UK casting while he was on a plane and got the part.
Whose line is it? And Richie Rich. We.
Oh, Will Scarlett now, friends. Doves. Oh, John Woo's on set.
Yes, off happening.
That's a weird way to go with that, isn't it?
What him
Just
break?
tell the film to break the fourth wall.
Well, again, I think it's just making it as like a fairy tale, innit? It's like done dusted.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, it was a long one, that one. I think we'll probably have
That's
another
what she
40.
said.
Hey, I think we'll have another 40 minutes of Get a Waterworld in this. I'm like, right.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some master on Tio.
So yeah, so after going back and watching this, I'll say that I'm not 100% happy with Christian Slater's role in there.
I would personally have Alan
He stood
Rickman.
out from the entire film.
Alan Rickman's name should be above Mary Elizabeth and Christian Slater's.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
that. Me, Pat also in a fairly same Pet TV show, and he also played the Nazi guy who fights in Indiana Jones in Raiders of the Lost Ark, you know, in the airplane fight, and he's also in Temple of Doom, where he fights a guy on the rolling thing, crushed. Just thought I'd let you know that.
Alright. Interesting facts.
It's not a bank or anything, so it's alright.
No, that's fine.
Oh, here comes the song.
Yeah, but the music
Yes,
video doesn't kick in because originally the music video plays in the background.
It
Yeah,
does,
right.
yeah.
Perhaps this is like the original. Obviously, this is probably the Warner Brothers print I'd have had from the beginning, and then just added that song on when it became popular to the theatrical. That's what I'm thinking, anyway.
Well, with the original one, was it not like selling the music video as well, though? Whereas now, after doing this extended cut, they'll be like, well, we're not really selling the music video anymore, so we might as well just play the song.
Well, to be honest with you, the song isn't present until now, so the song's not really a theme. Even the song is like a without the lyrics, the actual score of the song, it's not used throughout the film, is it?
It is, yes. It's used once or twice. Just a really, really like.
Oh, right, yeah, it's like a subtle melody, but it's like, it's not like the song bursts in at any point, is it? So.
Yeah.
No, it wouldn't have that. It wouldn't have Chris. It wouldn't have like, Robin Hood start singing and it'd be a pretty musical. You wouldn't Kim Costner would singing. But what other films came out in 1991?
Die Hard 2. Terminator 2.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what was said before. Yeah.
Silence of a Lamb. Cape Fear. Boys in the Hood. Point Blank. Thelma and Louise. I've never seen that one. You've seen that one before?
Mm-hmm.
Years ago, Brad Pitt. Yeah.
Production consultant Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner. Yeah.
That's another paycheck for him.
He's doing a lot, like, isn't he? So 1981 wasn't really that well, as in
It wasn't huge. I'm going to say, based on what we've done in the past, where we've knocked out at least a good couple of blockbusters, this one's been quite in the past.
I think a reason why though is because as well by this point when it comes to film, especially the early 90s, the mass-produced film reels, they weren't just producing loads and then touring around America then to the UK, but you had these on theatres all the time. We got to the point where these were running back to back, and this, as I say, this would have been on the pictures for 2.5 months. You know what I mean? So no one open up against something. Do you know what I mean?
Like from years ago, where the same film came out in August in America, we wouldn't get it until like October, November over here. It was 2 months or so, didn't it? Can you remember those days? And now it's within a week now, really, isn't it? When America and here.
Well, again, it's the internet spoiled that. Facebook spoilers, downloaded links. You know what I mean? I mean, if people find out the film's shit, they'll not get a chance to go. It just takes somebody on a small group on Facebook and go, that film was shit. And then someone will go, oh, we're going to go and see that, the pictures, but we went to see that. And in fact, the film they went to see was shit, and the film that they've been going to see is amazing. But they find that out eventually when it appears on Netflix for free. Do you know what I mean?
We have to, nowadays, it was stuff like film like 1981, you know what I mean? And there was stuff like movies, games, and videos on a Saturday afternoon on ITV. That would be our film news, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I could say, just to knock off a couple of others there, because obviously this is the year we get Father the Bride, what about Bob, JFK, so another Kevin Costner film, which did quite well, I think.
Oh, that was an Oliver Stone. That was a long-ass movie, that mind.
Yeah. Backdraft.
That's a mint.
Turtles 2.
Backdraft's amazing.
Yeah. Oh, a very classic. I must have watched this 100 million times. Let's see if you know who I'm talking about. If I say it was directed by Stephen Herrick. It starred as the main star, basically, as Christina Applegate.
Don't tell Mum the Babysitter's Dead.
Yeah, Don't Tell Mum the Babysitter's Dead. I think I've watched that film so many times on video.
Awesome.
Class.
Awesome. It's awesome film.
Yeah, so the Adam Family as well. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of a...
So Problem Child 2 then?
Yeah, really. Yeah.
Well, so basically not the biggest, so no wonder it did really well. So if you put it against something like Star Wars, I mean, it would have no thingy with it. But because it was a quiet year, they did a good job. But that's what's scary now. When films come out next year, they're going to be hitting the films from next year, from this year. You know what I mean? It's going to be all over the place.
Well, let's go back as well. You talk about JFK and you talk about, I mean, again, we're talking about like people being able to go to the pictures, and when you bring in like 3-hour movies on small screens, do you know what I mean? You can only go and see. That's why the movie would be on a number of screens, because you can only fit a number of certain showings in a day. But if you look at that year and go, fucking hell, Robin Hood played for X amount of weeks, and then what replaced that? Terminator 2. And then Terminator... You know what I mean? It doesn't give a lot of companies a look in. And companies back then, I mean, it was notoriously known for companies not to sweat and wait till they got a good deal on advertisement and stuff like that. Or, you know what I mean? It wasn't uncommon. I'm trying to think of the film. Like, Jason X, right? Jason X was finished, and it was nearly 2 years later that actually decided to release it when it suited New Line.
Yeah, that's it. You can actually sit on it and wait until it was ready rather than just putting it out there.
Yeah, well, just wait, capitalise on a good opportunity. But like when people are like, was it Transformers was opening up against Summit? Was it Die Hard 4 or something? And they were like, oh, they'll move, don't worry. And then you know what I mean? Because obviously they start battling over the set release dates, and then it's all about who's got the payment on social media, on buses and stuff like that. And it's all, what's available.
Yeah, and plus obviously, if you think about it, if they did a 2.5 hour version of Robin Hood in the pictures, that's not many showings, is it? So obviously they had to knock it down to like an hour and a half. Yeah. That's the reason why we get all these extended editions for. is because it's bums seats in the cinemas for the quicker showings.
Well, as well as that error as though we didn't have a 12 at the pictures, so it was either PG or a 15.
Yeah. You've also got like to think that there was small margins of the years where films were like notoriously going to make money. Like now, I feel like that's gone. So, like for example, if a film gets released in the cinema January, February, it's automatically deemed as a rubbish film because there's no money to be made in the beginning of the year. Yeah, I think that's gone now. I think that it was even when Star Wars, when it came back with The Force Awakens, and like pretty much shocked everyone by going, "Oh no, we're going to go to the date that we actually originally released Star Wars, which is December." And everyone's like, "What? December? You can't do that. It's Christmas. Nobody's going to cinemas. Nobody's doing this. Nobody's doing that because it's too busy at Christmas."
Wait, Boxing Day?
That wrong, but yeah.
Boxing Day used to be always be a big release, but they'll do it.
That's it. I mean, even now, it's a tradition for me to go to the cinema. I mean, I know I'm notoriously not going to cinema every other day, but I'll always go to cinema on the 1st of January. There's always at least 2 or 3 films that's probably being released in America already that I'm kind of already looking forward to seeing.
I'm always seeing
it's always dead.
Yeah.
Batman Forever. Nice.
Boxing Day. I've already seen that Boxing Day. But Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, man, I mean, what's 1981, it's 2020 now. Jesus Christ, I mean, that is such an old film now. But
and I still think it holds the top spot for Robin Hood films.
Yes,
all the Robin Hood films out there. I think Prince of Thieves
it's
the most unlikely Robin Hood. You know, it's kind of, it's just up there. You know, everything else hits the nail on the head. If you have to critique it and go, "Oh, well, who's the best Robin Hood?" Kevin Costner's still up there, but I reckon if you like think, "Oh, he's really," there's a lot of British actors who did it really well as well. Who like should get the.
Aye, but what is Robin Hood? Because at the end of the day, it goes back to, it's still a very grey area if Robin Hood is a fictional or a real life person. So what is Robin Hood? Do you know what I mean?
Person.
Well, yeah.
Dracula, really.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly. It depends. It's just all about myths. So you look at that and go, right, I want to watch a film about Robin Hood, and you think, yeah. But when obviously the remake essentially came along, where people were like, "Oh, it's Ridley Scott and it's Russell Crowe and it's just fucking dark and brutal," and you go like, "Well, okay, so like it's a different side of the story, a bit more about the mythology." But like you go again, I watch that Robin Hood film to have fun, and there's a lot of fun in that movie.
Yeah, the one from 3 years ago, the Tara Egerton one.
No. Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe. I think what it did though, it was, you were saying like it had fun with it. It did, and I do enjoy that film, but I feel like it needs to be marketed right, because if I'm going to cinema, I will expect certain sort of marks for what a Robin Hood film concludes. I mean, the fact that I even praised him for going with the whole idea that he wasn't even Robin Hood. You know, the first time ever we actually get someone who Robin Hood actually gets killed at the beginning of the film. You know what I mean? It's like it's actually Russell Crowe taking his name. You know, so it kind of takes all the rules out the window because he's actually not even Robin Hood.
Well, he's a Skywalker.
Okay. Actually, mate.
Because wasn't the last one that came out, wasn't that like more of like he was a ninja or something?
No, but the Azim character, Jamie Foxx, he was more of an assassin. So he had a lot more athleticism to him.
And you
a lot
guys
more style.
remember the one that was done in the mid 2000s? It was on BBC.
Sherwood.
What?
Sherwood.
No, it's just called Robin Hood. It was on BBC One, no.
The film.
And there was a BBC One drama one, but it was really good. But it was proper emo. I'll send the pictures to you.
Yeah. No, I know what you're about. It's a TV
Yeah. That was really good. That one.
It's really good. Although, spoiler alert if anyone hasn't seen it.
From 2007.
I know, but I just feel like if people are listening to the podcast and going, "Oh, I never knew about that. Oh, I'm going to look it up." There is they do kill him at the end, and it's just really, he doesn't do it well. And I know that sounds really ridiculous, but the plot is that he's obviously been cut with a blade that's been doused in poison. So he's wandering the woods, and obviously they've got the balls, I think in series 3, to actually kill Maid Marianoff. So he's having this kind of spiritual kind of meeting up with her. but like the actual body of Robin Hood, he kind of slumps into a tree, and he just looks. He just looks like. I'm sorry, I lost it. He just looked like a bloke, like in Stanley, at 2 o'clock in the morning, just slumped and passed out.
Fuck off, 2 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Fair enough. So yeah, it's the only thing I critique about that. But the whole series, you're right, Paul. It's a really well done series, and I think anyone should watch it for like Robin Hood stuff.
But go back to Prince of Thieves. I mean, like I said, that film's what 20-something years old now.
29, 30 years next year.
Yeah.
We need a 30th anniversary then, don't we?
Well, that's it. Yeah, that's where you think Arrow would hold on to it. I mean, Arrow Entertainment should have got that, right? Instead of just hoying it out on the same day they hoyed out Last of the Mohicans and Ace Ventura. So they've acquired them 3 films on the same day. And then you think, right, why didn't you just sit on Robin Hood, you know, get it remastered? Maybe, I mean, you're not going to get, maybe not get Kevin Costner. You might get Kevin Costner. But you just never know until you reach out. And then...
Well, they're able to transfer the commentary over, won't they, from the Blu-ray?
Oh, yeah. Hit some new artwork up like Waterworld, because Waterworld was a massive... Waterworld is one of Arrow's most underestimated digipack editions, right? Because
Tell me about it. I still haven't fucking owned it.
Exactly, but then you look.
I slept on it for a week. I thought it was going to be loads of copies.
Well, then, but if you look at how much they put into RoboCop, and RoboCop to me personally is one of Arrow's biggest flops.
Yeah.
Because you know what I mean, that hasn't sold out. Waterworld was so sorted after. It was big budget. It goes for big money. Yes, you can pick up the special edition, but you don't get the 3-hour cut. I don't think on the standard edition.
No.
Oh,
the 4K, you get 2 versions of it. You get the theatrical and the UC's cut. No, you get the TV cut and the 4.
But that's not through Arrow, is it?
No, it's not through Universal.
So
obviously Universal, you know what Universal's like? They just get their own way of doing it, like The Thing. How many times has that came out? Jesus Christ. But then I think... I know, that's what I'm saying. But like I said, 30 years next year, I guarantee it'll be 4K next year, or Arrow will get it, and I think maybe Arrow's testing the water on them, see what they're like, and then if they do all right, maybe doing the special editions.
Well, it's their relationship with Warner Brothers, though, isn't it? That's where they're tiptoeing around, because they've got a really good relationship with Universal.
Yeah.
The rest of the stuff they release, they're basically just picking up stuff almost forgotten from the 80s. Do you know what I mean?
Well, what's happening now is that a lot of companies like Arrow are releasing stuff under different labels just to get them out there, so it's cheaper for Warner Brothers to not produce them anymore. Because I think Sony, it was Sony or Warner Brothers or Universal in America working together to produce their films to just distribute their films together, because it's cheaper that way. But 2 companies do it that way instead of separately. So I think that's tested in Waterworld with Arrow, to be honest. But now Robin Hood Prince of Thieves is definitely one of those memories I had as a kid of just cinema, movies, soundtrack. That's all 3 things there, really, isn't it? That's 3 forms of entertainment right there.
Yeah, definitely.
And aimed at kids with the toys.
I think I was 12 at the time. Jesus. Right, so it's been the history of that. Film, but like I said, out of all films we've done, that was really we've all had knowledge of that film, and it's worked really well. I've really enjoyed it.
Well, we've already talked about the sequel of this podcast will be Waterworld, which we'll have to start doing our research on.
We'll have to go and find a copy.
But yeah, this is our longest...
The regular one, cheap enough, to be honest with you. But I just don't want to buy the regular one, because I know I really want the other one, so I'm just going to hunt it down until I find it. I'm looking at it right now. To get it on DVD, I can get it for £3.59.
How much is it on Blu-ray?
£3.59.
£10.64.
Well, that's special edition?
No, just the regular...
you get
the special edition you can get on Amazon now for £9.51.
You get it cheaper than that, yeah.
No, the newest release.
Oh, I don't know that.
Well,
that's what I'm saying. So the one that I mentioned before, the regular DVD, that's £3.50. but it's a Blu-ray. I mean, I'm only looking on one search. I could probably dig it.
But yeah, Robin Hood Thieves, I'll give it a 8 arrows out of 10.
Yeah,
Oh,
10.
Paul Ray's new thing,
I was
ratings.
gonna say, when do we start rating?
I call him. Oh no, that's bad. Yeah, I don't know. I was gonna say something, but
How
I'm
many-
not.
How
Paul-
many arrows, Mason?
Paul's radar rating. Let you have that one, Paul.
Paul's rating.
Nah, it's
Oh,
right up. I mean, to
no.
me,
The rating.
that's a solid 10. Mainly because, for what Paul said before, the experience about going to see a film 30 years ago and how much fond memories that another film is never going to take away from you from that. Just for like the experience of going to see it, the pictures, the vibe, and then the build up and the hype for it to coming out on VHS to buy, you know what I mean? It's like there's long periods of times, the toys, but then when you revisit it, and especially I think with Robin Hood, I mean, you watch it and watch it and watch it because, like, I obviously didn't have as many VHSs as a kid as I have now, but for that Robin Hood to still be my original VHS I had, but then to see a version of it that is totally different years later is mind-blowing. It's like reading the Jurassic Park novel after you know Jurassic Park so well, and then you read the book and you've seen the first 3 films, and the first book is almost like a hybrid, like amazing book, like it's all 3 films in one book, and you're like, oh my god, and it's like the ultimate remake of Jurassic Park, but you know it came before, and like it's just that kind of series. But it's like with Stargate, like I watched the uncut version of that, and when you know in Stargate that they know that there's creatures on the other side because there's another relic you don't see in the original cut, and Kurt Russell's staring at it, and you see like the creature like stuck in the wall, and like, yeah, there might be a problem. Just them little things they cut out, whether it's the plaque at the end of Waterworld where it's Everest, like these little things that just have so many memories that add more like stuff that you can't rate a film over. Like people go, oh yeah, it's like solid like Outer Summit, but that factor to me makes this film a 10 just on that note.
Yeah, it has got everything but what you call. How many arrows would you give it?
Well, I mean, the irony is I'm going to give it 9.5, so there is a broken arrow there.
Oh,
That's a Christian Slater pun because it would have gotten a 10, but I just feel like he would have miscast in this film. He didn't feel like he was part of the same film as everyone else.
so you're gonna miscast the only person in that movie who actually appears on Lonely Tree Entertainment's channel? Are you fucking serious?
Listen, mate, I understand your love. And don't get me wrong, I think Christian Slater's an awesome actor. And I love Broken Arrow. I mentioned before, I love him in Young Gun 2. I love him in Mr. Robot. I think he's really good at Mr. Robot. If you've not seen that, you should really watch that, because he does really well in that. But at the end of the day, as I've watched that film, I can only say what I honestly feel, and I feel like the whole film, the only person who doesn't belong, I tell you, like, he doesn't not belong in it, but the only one person who I feel that isn't on the same kind of like playing field is him. He looks like he's an extra who's getting too many lines. So
essentially, what that is, I mean, Christian Slater is quite high build in that movie. He should have got Christian Slater like he does with Interviewing the Vampire.
Again, love him in that, yeah. Like I said, I think he's an awesome actor. I just don't think that was the role for him. I think if you put him in a different role in the film, fair enough, but obviously it's a role that is leading up to the whole reveal that he's obviously the brother, but at the same time, it just, nah. I mean, I would literally have said that, I mean, I don't think Johnny Depp would have done a better role anyway, even though that was one of the guys who was in the running for it. But I don't know, it's just something about the way he acted that role, it just didn't sit well with us.
I would say another thing with Christian Slater at that time is he was the pin-up guy of Hollywood for the teenagers era, because the two Coreys had by this point had faded out, and it was Christian Slater's era. Heather's Pump Up the Volume.
Wasn't he?
Yeah, it like again having him and Robin Hood. You know what I mean? Would have been again.
Jason's got magazines, haven't you?
Yeah, again hit. No, yeah, we forget. But obviously, like True Romance would follow in a couple of years, so like this is obviously his hype as well. So you can see why he was cast. But like, I do, from what I remember, the commentary.
Yeah.
The director did struggle to get him to that point, and the director was comfortable that he got there. It's just, you know, how many times do you redo a line before it becomes stale in its delivery? Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm almost there, I'm almost there. And again, you got to give him credit as well, though, because again, if you're trying to do that scene and Kevin Costner's fucking looking at you, it's going to be quite trauma. Like, you know what I mean?
Daunting, yeah. Yeah, I agree with you there. But it said a 20-odd-year-old film, and it's still to this day one of our favourites, really. I mean,
definitely, yeah.
Especially like go and watch it.
I very rarely give full marks, and anyway, so I should get that in defence. I don't do full marks a lot.
Fine. We do actually that often.
But on that note, I will say that I've just been scrolling on the World Wide Web, and if I want that limited edition Waterworld, the first one I found is on Amazon, and it's going for a sweet £139.16.
and there's mine sitting in my fish tank.
Yeah, in a fucking fish tank. Didn't even respect it.
I fucking do.
Anyway, guys.
Well, this has been. Well, this has been the podcast for Robin Hood. It's definitely been the longest podcast we've done, and definitely by far one of my favourites. Robin of the Hood, the Prince of the Thieves. We will be back as a trio for Waterworld. Well, probably the click of a button for you guys, but we'll try and get that sorted because I've got to go back to work at 6 o'clock in the morning for the first time in 3 months. Me and Carl have planned for daylight, and I think me and Paul are doing House of Wax, I think, when we've next got time. Isn't that right, Paul?
Oh my god, you guys are doing daylight. I have to jump on there maybe.
Well, Paul's now, so the next one we'll probably be on will be daylight, because it's going to take me a while personally to research Waterworld for watching the epic uncut version. So yeah. Right, for now I've been Steve Monkey Mason. I've been joined by Mr. Movie Facts himself, the Ray Meter, the guy with the arrows, the one and only Slim Shady Paul Ray, and Lubo Carl as well. So thanks for listening.
Bye.
Goodbye for now.